We will now begin the Boynton Beach Community Redevelopment Agency Board meeting today, Tuesday, November 13, 2018. Would all please rise for invocation by Board Member McCray, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us bow to the Creator Maker of all mankind. Father, here we are once more again, asking for your guidance, asking that you will lead us and guide us, and let us be cognizant of what we say and how we say it. As we look, we pray for our brothers and sisters in California, for we have a lot to be thankful for. We have fresh air. We're not feeling any heat. We pray, Lord, that you will grant them grace and mercy, but most of all, you give them protection that they need at this time. We thank you, Lord, for all that you do, even the small things that we take for granted. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Grant.
Here.
Vice Chair Romulus.
Present.
Board Member McCray.
Present.
Board Member Katz.
Any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. Anything from legal?
No.
Can we get your name for the record?
Sure. Catherine Rossma with Lewis Longman and Walker.
Thank you. Informational items and disclosures by board members and CRA staff. Board Member Katz, would you like to begin?
I have none at this time.
Board Member McCray.
I have none at this time.
Vice Chair Romulus.
I also have nothing to disclose, Mayor.
All right. Well, I do have a couple things to disclose. I was able to attend the Pirate Fest. The staff did an amazing job. The weather was amazing. A lot of people told me that they liked the new outlay of it, that it was a couple blocks. It was more of a square formation instead of a long rectangle. And so I think that's something we'll look to in the future, that it's not as linear and that it'll be easier to walk around. I attended the FRA conference, and the keynote speaker for Thursday left, so myself, along with a few other panelists, were talking about affordable housing and developments within the CRA of Boynton Beach and throughout the state. The last thing that I'd like to talk about with the board is what's called an opportunity zone. So our heart of Boynton Beach is designated as an opportunity zone, and this just received guidance from the IRS on October 22nd. It is an amazing investment tool to get developers to come to the heart of Boynton Beach. I think it is better than the 9% tax credit because it offers 10 years of appreciation with no capital gains. So if you invest $1 million and it turns into $10 million, you do not owe taxes on the $9 million appreciation after the 10 years. I know that we have a discussion about our RFP, RFQ for redevelopment of the CRA properties of MLK, which is in this opportunity zone. I would actually like to see, from guidance from the commission, if you want to move forward with that, because I personally do not, because of this opportunity zone and the availability of opportunity funds for this area could drastically increase the number of applicants and deposit, so that we are not contingent on receiving a 9% tax credit or sale or the CRA financing. This is, we only have one opportunity, after, with this property, and I was looking forward to building it in January. We've waited this long to October, and I think that it deserves consideration to get an expert to explain to us what exactly is an opportunity zone and how an opportunity fund can invest and make the heart of Boynton Beach the best it can be. And that is it for my informational items. Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you. Chair, in regards to the opportunity zone, you have any written information that you can give to us prior to anybody coming to discuss it, so that we can at least be ahead of what is going on? And I'd like to ask if Michael, if you can get us some information about this opportunity zone.
The only, like I said, the information was given by the IRS on October 22nd, and so they have a fact where they're frequently asked questions. They have a draft tax form, and I think we would need someone from the board because this applies for all development in the heart of Boynton Beach. So including the properties, west of the railroad track, east of the railroad track, and residential.
Okay, I'm going to request, sir, for myself, if the board, if Mr. Michael, if you can go ahead and get us some information, get me some, whatever you could find. I'm just saying, maybe they don't need it, but whatever you get, we need to have something distributed. I might not be something new that's coming out, new or old. Question was asked. Somebody got copies of the questions. I need to know what was said and what was going on. That's my request. Thank you.
All right. Is there any other informational items from the board? Seeing none, moving on to announcements and awards. Let's begin with the 7th Annual Boynton Beach Haunted Pirate Fest and Mermaid Splash recap.
Good evening, Board. Mercedes Coppin, Business Promotions and Events Manager. Azim and I had prepared a PowerPoint presentation to recap Pirate Fest. However, it seems that we're having some technical difficulties. And
Mercedes, I'm sorry, but it sounds like something's wrong with your voice.
The microphone.
how do I sound now?
The
It's the
microphone.
microphone.
Oh, that's just how I sound, apparently.
No, it's the
Microphone.
microphone. It's bad.
I don't. Is there something?
Mercedes, you sound fine.
Yes.
Go ahead. You sound fine. It's just how you're speaking. Yeah, give her that one.
How do I sound now? Better? Same.
Go ahead. Go
okay.
ahead.
All right.
Okay, so yes, Azim and I had prepared this PowerPoint presentation. It's a little bit more visual than what is on the cover. Would the board like to see it?
Yes, please.
Okay, great. Okay, so we just wrapped the 7th Annual Boynton Beach Haunted Pirate Fest and Mermaid Splash. The event did take place on, I'm sorry, should I speak into this one or this one? This is...
They're
It's the same, right?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the event was held on Saturday, October 27th and Sunday, October 28th in downtown Boynton Beach. As board chair has already pointed out, the formation and the layout for the event were different this year. We had it along East Ocean Avenue between Northeast 3rd Street and Federal Highway, and then up and down 4th Street. And we also used some private property along Ocean, and it was a great layout. We received a lot of good feedback on the layout. Based on the live gauge software that we use, we had approximately 50,000 people attend this year's event. There was a nice variety of adults, children, a nice mix. I want to share some of the stats from our kids' activities because this is a way for us to gauge how many people are actually utilizing the services and the activities that we offer. So we had about 1,600 tickets redeemed in our children's activity area, which was specifically for balloon art, face painting, and henna tattoos. We also offered other inflatable activities, but we didn't collect tickets for those. And we had a whopping 1,400 surveys that we collected from the event. Our volunteers and CRA staff did an amazing job actually reaching out to the patrons who were there and gathering their feedback. So of the people that were surveyed, 47% of them were returning attendees, with 53% of them being new to the event. The attendance by location, which is pretty interesting, we had about 36% of the people actually from Boynton Beach, but we actually had people from outside of Palm Beach County, 20%, and then even 4% that said they traveled from outside of the state of Florida. Of the people who actually did the survey, about 67% were female, 33% male. On to our budget and funds collected. So I am proud to say that as of right now, we are well under budget. We have expended about $310,000 of our budget. That will change as we still have some outstanding invoices from different city services, but I still expect to come in well under budget. And we just outlined some of the key expenses on the right-hand side. We also did collect some sponsorship funds. This year we collected about $9,250 in actual money, and then we had well over 60 $65,000 in in-kind sponsorships. We did a lot of partnerships this year, and a lot of people rallied behind the event, which was really nice. And then for our vendor fees, we collected about $19,000 for retail and art vendors, and for our food and beverage, just under $40,000. On to community involvement. We always try and engage the community as much as possible, so we have various contests. We have our treasure hunt, which takes people through our business development section of the event, trying to get that additional interaction between the businesses and our event patrons. We also have costume contests, the mermaid pageant, which is widely popular, as well as our hooks and tails costume contest, which is run on social media prior to the event. Altogether, we had about 47 unique craft, art, and retail vendors featured throughout the event. And our business development portion, which is the Enchanted Market, featured 17 local CRA merchants. And those are the same people that I just referenced who participated in the treasure hunt. And so far, feedback has been excellent from all of the businesses that participated. We had 79 volunteers partner with us over the 2 days, which was great. We definitely used them and utilized their help in our treasure hunt booth, our info booth, and also with the children's activities and all of those event surveys. One of my favorite things that we got to do this year was partner with Due South and have a specialty beer made for the event. It was called the Pirates Rebellion. We heard back from the company that runs all the bars that they completely sold out of the Pirates Rebellion at the event, and Due South was very happy about that as well. And then I'm going to pass it over to Azim, and he will review the marketing initiatives that we had.
Yes. Good evening, board. Azim Hussein, marketing, events, and business development assistant. So as always, we had a lot of different marketing initiatives for Pirate Fest this year. Again, we worked with Gateway Gazette and Sun Sentinel, and we advertised to thousands of people throughout Broward County and Palm Beach County. We also worked with Delray newspaper, which that newspaper reached about 15,000 direct online readers, and it also circulated to about 12,000 papers, and it was distributed to 250 locations in Palm Beach County. And a mailed copy was directly sent to 2,000 different homes. The neighborhood news, where we mailed out 17,500 flyers to homes and clubhouses in Boynton Beach and unincorporated Lake Worth. The Coastal Angler, we reached Palm Beach County, Broward County, Dade, and Monroe counties, which circulated to about 40,000 different homes. The Coastal Star, the total distribution was actually more than 17,000 copies. And then, of course, CRA staff distributed 5,000 postcards, and 100 posters were distributed to local businesses. As you can see from the slide there, 10,000, the Every Door Direct mailer went to 10,000 different homes in Boynton Beach. What do we have here? This video it's about a 30-second promotional video for Pirate Fest. We were able to partner with, I believe it's Alco Theater, the Cinemark 14 and in Boynton Beach, and the Cinemark Palace 20, and Boca Raton, and the Shadowwood 16 in West Boca Raton. We put this was able to show at every movie showing. Right before the movie, I believe it was shown, I can't remember actually I don't have the actual note on how many times it actually was shown. Was it 1750? Does it say it there? Sorry, I can't read it from here. So it shows 1,750 times a week. Okay, cool. What's the next slide? What I have over there and what I have here is different. Oh, I have it over here as well. Perfect. So this year, we're very active on social media. I think this year we're a little bit more active than we were last year. But our event pages on both our CRA Facebook page and our Pirate Fest event page, we're able to reach over 200,000 people, which I think is pretty impressive. Throughout those two pages, we posted 7 to 10 times per week. Those posts included anything from CRA district businesses, vendors, different acts that we had, stunt shows, kids activities, music, pirates, mermaids, etc. This is a post that we did in partnership with iHeartRadio. As you know, we've been partnering with iHeartRadio for about 4 years. We had our pirate character, Lord Governor, as he's been here many times, and all of you know him, and our mermaid Shelley. So we went to iHeartRadio, and we did a couple of videos with them. This is Andy Preston from, I believe he's from the Gator. These are our billboards. We did, I believe, 3 different billboards. I'm trying to see, I gotta read all these details.
On 995.
Yeah, these are on 995. Our website analytics we just received in the last week or so. In the month of October, we had over 76,000 page views. 17,646 of those were new users. This year we started a campaign called Pirate Television, which was kind of fun actually and pretty interesting to see as it played out over the months, which it started in May. This Pirate Television was kind of a spoof news station, as you would say, that basically we had a pirate character, and Mercedes, who was our on the scene, our pirate, what was it? It was Pirate Fest Maven. It's kind of our on the scene newscaster, news anchor, and we went around to a lot of different businesses in the area and kind of just promoted them, their attendance at the event. We also just had a lot of different images of different pirates and things of that nature. The entire campaign for our first time around, total reach between our CRA page and our Pirate Fest page reached over 173,000 people. The total shares was 535 times, total comments was 495, and our total likes were 3,488. I am still currently in the process of uploading the photos for the event to our Flickr page, so hopefully by the end of this week I will have all the photos, but you can check our Flickr out as well. I'll post it on social media so you guys can check it out there also. Okay, I think. Yes.
Thank you.
Questions from the board? Yes.
Go ahead.
I have a few things. So one of the comments, Mercedes, you said that there were no complaints from vendors, but I believe we had Ms. Susan Oyer last week who mentioned that there were some complaints from vendors who were not so happy about their location, being that they were returning, and then there were others that were new, but it seemed as if the returning vendors kind of got less better real estate than the ones who were new. So perhaps that could be something that could be visited next year if we're going to use the same layout again, to let Ocean kind of be the one that maybe our better high price paying vendors perhaps get that real estate, and then others are kind of spread out.
Absolutely, I agree with you. What we did was we left Ocean Avenue for our business development vendors, the actual people that work at have businesses in the CRA district. Are you referring to the people that paid to be at the event, to include them on Ocean Avenue as well?
I'm not sure. I would just speak to Susan Oyer, see what she was referring to, but she did say that a few people were not happy about their location, so maybe that's something to look into.
Okay, absolutely.
Thank you. Second, I'd like to see some numbers year over year of how we've been doing in terms of participation, money coming in from vendors. I'd like to see those numbers in the breakdown just to show numerically how we're doing year over year and if we are on a positive trajectory.
Okay, absolutely.
Okay. Other thing, the date of Pirate Fest, is it always the weekend leading up to Halloween, or does it vary?
It hasn't been in the past. It changed this year. This was the first year that we had it the weekend before Halloween.
Did you see a difference in putting it before Halloween compared to other years? Have you done that year-over-year analysis?
I have not done that analysis. I certainly can try.
I would
to
suggest
gauge it.
if we can have those dates set, to always have it the weekend leading up to Halloween, because I think that just makes it just segue so much better.
Yes.
So I would suggest that for
Absolutely.
future years. And last thing is, have we sought partnerships with the Tourist Development Council, which I am a member of, and also the Cultural Council? Because one of the things that
the Cultural Council does is they provide grants for events like this that are bringing in people into Palm Beach County from outside the county, even from outside the state, as some of your numbers said. So if that's not something we're already doing, perhaps that's something to look into.
Absolutely.
Where we as an organization can, I know we're government too, but still, we get rewarded for doing tourist events that bring people from outside of Palm Beach County, bring people here into our city and into our county. So I'd like for us to look into that too and see what grants we may possibly qualify for as we do these events every year.
Okay, I'll definitely discuss that with Tracy. I know we currently partner with Discover the Palm Beaches,
Yes.
but I'm not familiar with the others, so I'll definitely talk to her about it.
Cultural Council is under the umbrella of Tourist Development Council. They're just one of the organizations, and that's one of the grants that they provide.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Board Member Katz, then Board Member McCray.
Yeah, just in advance for next year, I think it was awesome that Due South was able to participate with their custom beer for the event. If there's a way to reach out to all 4 of the breweries in the city limits, Devour, North Boynton, Copper Point, and Due South, and engage them all, because I know all of them would probably be happy to create a special beer. And at least the two bigger ones right now, Copper Point and Due South, have canning lines, and usually they're very helpful with the smaller ones. So I know that all 4 breweries would love to be engaged, and you could even turn it into something where there's 4 different local breweries and a special beer, that there's some sort of contest between them for the best one of the event. So just to reach out to all 4 of them to get them incorporated into the event.
Absolutely. We actually did reach out to all the breweries. Not all of them were interested in actually doing the craft beer specifically for the event, but we did feature all of them on tap at the event.
Okay.
But I'll definitely follow up again for next year.
Thank you.
Craig?
Thank you. My first concern is going to be that microphone is still bad. I'm sorry, they can say what they want to. I'm sitting up here, difficult for me to hear, and I know it's difficult for other citizens to hear. Somebody need to check that. That's number one. I'd like to see a spreadsheet saying the attendance, like from the beginning of Pirate Fest all the way up to where we are now. She requested the finances, income, et cetera. I want to see the breakdown to see, year to year, are we improving at the same pace? Okay, what Board Member Katz said, I'm going to go a little step further, and that is, did they have any of this beer left over there? So what did they do with the cans? I'm not, I don't want any because I wasn't there, but I'm just saying sometimes they overproduce, and then I'm trying to say if they overproduce, where is it stored? How much, did they make? Did they sell all of it? I'd like a breakdown on that. I'm just saying. My last concern is on the last page where you all did the photos and you got Boynton Beach CRA. Everything is going together. Boynton Beach CRA, and on your last page that you showed us, that whole, it's like a line, everything going together. If I didn't know it was Boynton Beach CRA, I wouldn't know what it was.
It's a hyperlink. It's a hyperlink. It's like an actual web link that you could click on, but it's in the PowerPoint. So next time we won't do it like that.
Mercedes, let me finish. Whether it's in the PowerPoint or not, it's a presentation given to us, given to the citizens. My concern is that before y'all give it to us, give it to me. I was a printer by trade, and when I see type like this, it bothers me. Boynton, space, beach, space, CRA.
No, you can't. That's a website.
Well, then that's awful. Then y'all need to do something else. I'm not satisfied.
No, it's kind of like on top of you type that into a web page to get to it.
Thank you, sir. I'm still not satisfied. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
You could use underscores.
All right. Okay. Moving on to the next one, Holiday Parade and Light Up the Park event on December 1st, 2018 at 6 p.m. And I'd like to thank Board Member Katz for his quote in the Coastal Star. I appreciate that.
Jewish mayor saves Christmas. Is that what it was?
Yes.
Yes, Board. The Light Up the Park event is scheduled to follow the city's holiday parade on December 1st. The holiday parade will begin at 4 p.m. and the Light Up the Park event will run from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. We will have it at Dewey Park, which is located at 100 Northeast 4th Street in downtown Boynton Beach. The event will light up the banyan trees located in Dewey Park with festive lights. And we will also have live music from Making Faces and a visit from Santa Claus. Any questions?
Parking.
Parking will be available at the old Bank of America lot, which is directly across the street from Hurricane Alley. The city has also secured parking at the the city is working to secure parking at the SunTrust Bank parking lot as well as Journey Church.
Okay. We're Vice Chair.
My concern, if we're going to have people parking at the Bank of America, will we have police officers or other security details on hand to help people cross the street and make
Yes,
sure no
ma'am.
one gets hurt?
Yes, we will
Yes.
have we will have police officers on site.
To make sure that
Yes.
traffic is okay. All
Yeah,
right.
the
And
traffic
Federal
stop
Highway will
goes
be
to parade.
completely closed
Federal Highway will be closed?
for the
Oh.
parade.
Oh, even better. Thank you.
Yes, Board Member McCray.
Thank you. For overflow traffic, I'm just saying, besides Bank of America, you all got some other spots?
The city is working to secure SunTrust Bank parking lot as well as Journey Church. There will be ADA parking lot located in the parking lot that's just north of the library.
We will not be providing transportation for the places that's not close.
No.
Okay. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? Seeing none. Moving on to Rock the Plaza on December 8th, 2018, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay. Rock the Plaza is a new event series that the CRA is launching in December. This is a business development initiative to spotlight some of our local plazas and businesses within the CRA district. And also to maximize our customer outreach, CRA staff will also provide social media assistance to interested businesses located within the designated plazas. So the first event will be held December 8th from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Sunshine Square Plaza, which is located on the southwest corner of Woolbright Road and Federal Highway. We will have live music by Stilltown Religion and Artical Sound System. And various stores and restaurants within that plaza will be offering different specials. Our Facebook and website will be updated as we receive more of those specials. Yes.
I recognize this is something new that you all are doing, but you have dates for the rest of the plazas and places that you're going to be doing, or y'all going to do them however you feel?
No, we're not going to do them however we feel. We actually are in the process of working with the plaza owners and management companies to finalize all the dates. I hope to have them all by the end of this month.
All right, so we don't have the dates yet.
Not as yet, sir.
Okay. I need something to get out, instead of we doing one, then they're talking about, well, why do they, I'm looking out for down the road, did they contact us? I'm just saying everybody come to us at one time, as long as they know that it's going to go from plaza to plaza. Somebody corresponded with them?
Who are you referring to? The plaza owners?
No, follow me. The other plazas that we're going to have, like Yachtman, has anybody contacted these owners and saying
Yes.
that, we do anticipate, this is what I'm saying?
Azim
Okay.
and I have personally been in contact with the owners.
Thank you. It's my
welcome.
concern.
Vice Chair.
Let me just say that I am super excited about this and the following events that will come out of this. This is what I'm talking about when I say engaging our community, engaging our small businesses. This is what I've been wanting to see, and I'm excited to see this come to fruition. And unfortunately, I won't be there for this first one because I'll be out of town. But whoever's idea this was super fantastic, and I'm just looking forward to going event plaza to plaza, event to event, small business to small business, and just bringing that awareness to those people, to the people in our community about those businesses, and just making it something that's engaging and inviting. You're talking about music, you're talking about local businesses, giving out offers so people know that they're there and that they exist. This is tremendous. So maybe I'm getting a little excited, maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I really get excited about things like this because I feel like this is why the CRA is here. It's all about community engagement. It's all about bringing awareness and helping really propel our small businesses to higher levels and really making them be successful and making Boynton Beach the fantastic city that it's meant to be with events like this. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the board? And yes, when you get a chance for all the other Rock the Plazas, let us know whenever we can have those dates so we can start letting people know.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Moving on to the last announcement is the 47th Annual Boynton Beach and Delray Beach Holiday Boat Parade on December 14th, 2018 at 6:30 p.m.
Okay, so yes, the 47th annual event will take place on December 14th. The parade route has slightly changed. We will be starting at the Palm Beach Yacht Center and traveling south to the C-15 Canal, which is just south of Linton Boulevard. The watch party, which will be located at the Boynton Harbor Marina, will begin at 6:30 p.m. and it will run until 8:30 p.m. We will have music, we'll have a visit from Santa, and we'll also have some activities for children. Food and drinks will be available for purchase from Two Georges on their property. And we are still looking for captains, so if anyone has a boat, we are calling all captains, and we hope that you will register for the event. We will be accepting the applications through December 10th.
Yes, Board Member McCray.
Thank you. I know I need to just state it for the record. It's a Boynton Delray partnership, but Delray, they are giving funds towards this event.
They will
Yes.
give funds. They split the event in half with us, 50%.
Want to state it for the record. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, oh, did you have all your judges?
We have the judges for our city, and Delray will select theirs as well.
Okay, excellent. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mercedes.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion for any of the informational only items?
It's no discussion, but I think it'd be nice if we would let the citizens from District 2, which is the heart of Boynton, know where we are with Sarah Sims Park project update. I'm just saying it's an update, and I think we need to have information to give to the citizens. We need to update them.
All right. Michael or Twee?
Yes, we can probably do that. We can work with the city staff who's managing the project and make sure we either do it through another utility bill of some sort to make sure it reaches the residents.
Okay, Tweet, let me say it like this.
You can, Twee, if you don't mind just reading the report.
Sure, of course, of course. So the Sarah Sims Park project is underway. The construction started in September, and in the staff report, it details out all the various bid projects. As the board recall, instead of having one big, large contractor do the project, the city and CRA broke it up to different parts so that the smaller contractors can be engaged, and there will be some wealth building components to that. To date, let's see. The most of the items have been bid out. There are still some other items, the bids are being evaluated, for instance, electrical bids. The landscape and irrigation bids were issued and are due the end of this month, November 26th. There's also design build bids for the restrooms, and that will be awarded by City Commission on the 20th of November. The city is also awarding the drainage installation and issuing a purchase order for that work. The underground utility bids are also being evaluated. So we're hoping also that this will be completed approximately, the substantial completion is in May of next year, and the final completion is usually 30 days after that.
Okay, Twee and Michael, I'm just saying, Chair, I need to keep speaking because this is dear to my heart. I'm just saying, anytime we say an update, this is where I'm going to tell you all what I need. Okay, I pass by there daily. We got a fence up. That should have been a picture of that. We got the grounds all tore up. Should have been a picture of that or something showing what we have accomplished. I'm just saying from start to where we are now. That's an update to me for the citizens.
There's an exhibit that has all the
Well,
pictures.
thank you. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, so.
Because I was up there tearing that bathroom down and you didn't give me no credit.
That was you?
Yes, and our.
Thank you, Board Member
Yes,
McCray.
thank you. That's what I'm saying, you know.
Yes, so it was provided in the
Now,
packet.
this is an
We should have-
update. Thank you. This is pictures.
And
Yes.
so we request that any future Sarah Sims updates is on old business, so that you can go show us
Rather
the
than information
pictures.
only, understood.
If there's monthly updates, then we would like them monthly.
Sure, I can
Thank
work
you.
with the.
All right. Is there any other comments from the board, any for the informational only items? Seeing none, moving on to public comments. Would individual speakers will be limited to 3-minute presentations. Please state your name and address for the record. And I remind everyone in the audience to please silence or your phones.
Woodrow Hay, 427 Northwest Fifth Avenue, Boynton Beach. I don't believe this is on the agenda, but I want to speak about the property that CRA owns at 201 Northeast 9th Avenue. There's a young lady by the name of Warner McLeod that's living there now.
That's on the agenda.
Excuse me, it is on
It's on the
old
agenda.
business, item C.
Item C?
Yes, would you,
I'll be
are you
back.
going to be here
Thank
to
you.
speak about it then?
Yes.
Okay, we'll make sure the public comments are available. Seeing no more people come to the podium, public, oh. Thank you.
My name is Tori Orr. I live on 407 Northeast 17th Avenue, apartment 101, Boynton Beach, Florida. Boynton Beach, Florida.
Thank you.
I got questions about Sarah Sims Park. Isn't we going? I thought there's going to be hiring people from our neighborhood to be participating in cleaning up the park. I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen no information about how they hiring, the hiring process, or nothing. How we going to be getting people in our neighborhood jobs? I don't know. I haven't been seeing anything. And I've been looking on Boynton Beach page, so I haven't seen nothing. So can I have some answers?
Is that your only question, or do you have others?
That's one of them.
Well, if you wouldn't mind asking us all your questions at once, and then we'll see whatever information we have, we will respond.
I wanted a couple months. Well, last week I seen some signs. I seen the Heart of Boynton signs just snatched off the poles. I put the sign back up on the gray box, and I posted it on Facebook. I said, "Can anybody from the city come put this back up on the pole where it belongs?" They represent this, showing coming into the Boynton, the Heart of Boynton, all the signs on Secret Boulevard, and they took two of them. They just took them. They ain't put them up or nothing. They just took them. Anyone fall, they just take them down, and that's it. They don't put them back up. Why is that?
I don't have an answer for you about that, but thank you for letting us know, and we will make sure that they are put back up.
And another thing about Carolyn Sims Park, the kids be over there playing, bushes everywhere over there. Why isn't the park getting kept up on a regular basis? Every other park is being kept up. You got city guys that's in park and recreations who are supposed to be taking care of these parks like everywhere else in Boynton. The park at Carolyn Sims Center, it need to be, I found a pigment rattlesnake over there. I took it back and threw it in the canal. So we need to do something about that.
Okay.
Let me, if you got any more questions,
No,
I
that's
want to
it.
have to address some of these. Okay, first of all, the question about Carolyn Sims Park, that's one that we need to take up with the city itself. I'm just saying that is not a CRA issue, okay? And Colin Groff is here tonight from the city, and he heard what you said about Carolyn Sims Park, and he's sitting right back there. So that would be one of the things that he could put on his agenda to do. In regards to hiring, people for Sarah Sims Park, the CRA, Michael and them need to address that. How will they be sending out information to get low individuals, minorities to participate? When I was at the thing for Gillen, there was a gentleman that came up to me and said that I'm going to be doing the grass, so probably something has been awarded to a minority. If not, he had no business telling me that, so I know one minority is already on board.
But I thought a couple of months ago when we came to this meeting that they said, oh, we're going to be letting our guys know, letting the community know y'all going to be participating in building this park back. We hadn't participated yet in it. And yet they've been building on it since what? Since they shut down Boynton Strong. Shut down Peace in the Hood.
Okay, so that'd be one that they need to follow through with us and let us know what they're sending out and how they're posting information. If they posted it on, the website or whatever.
They're not
then
posting it on the City of Boynton website because I haven't been seeing it.
that's information that they need to get to us so that we can get it to you all. I haven't seen it either, but I'm like you. I'm concerned. I'm still concerned. So with your concern, I'm going to help address that. I need the information, and once I get the information, they could give them a contact number, let them contact you and tell you that it's up.
Okay,
All right.
appreciate it.
Did I
Thank
miss
you.
one?
Tweet, did we not have a meeting here?
Yeah, we did have the city and the Economic Development Department and the Engineering Public Works Department did have a job fair there, here at this location. Mr. Gary Dunmeyer, the city engineer, is overseeing the bids, and I can certainly take the gentleman's name and then forward that to Mr. Dunmeyer.
I
Okay.
appreciate it.
And to let you know, and then we'll make sure that we coordinate with staff to make sure that we come back and let you know how these bids are being dispersed and awarded.
All right.
And Chair, in regards to that meeting that they had over here, that was only about 8 people that came, vendors, because I came in here and looked around, and I'm like, said, I felt like it was a waste of time. That was only 8 people that showed up, but they need to get information out to the community. I'm with you. I'll follow through and make sure that we get that information for you, sir.
Thank y'all.
All right. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to make comments that are not on the agenda? Seeing none, public comments is now closed. Moving into consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Seeing none, motion passes unanimously. Moving on to old business. Consideration of responses to an RFQ for redevelopment of CRA-owned properties within the MLK Junior Boulevard corridor. As I mentioned before, I'm going to be against anything that is presented today because of the investment tool for a qualified opportunity fund to come in here. When we initiated the RFP, there was no guidance for it. Now there is guidance. Billions of dollars are being raised throughout the country, and you can only invest in, I think, 8,700 of the hundreds of thousands of census districts, and this is one of them. So I'm happy with the will of the commission, what you would like to do to move forward.
But whether we act upon it or not, I'm just saying, if we have presenters here, I'd like to at least see what they said that they're trying to do for the heart of Boynton, what they're going to do on MLK Boulevard. And this will give the public something that they will have time to start digesting if we don't make a move on and then say this is what they're trying to put up over there. And then we can get comments back from the citizens that live in the heart of Boynton, who this is going to affect, that lives right around in the neighborhood. Whether we act on it or not, if they have presenters tonight, let them present what they're trying to do and let us have a picture so that we can go back and tell the citizens.
All right. Michael, do you have a preference of who goes first?
Yes, sir. We have Neighborhood Renaissance first, and then Centennial will go second.
Okay, and we will begin. So if Neighborhood Renaissance is here to present? Yes, please.
Good evening, Board and Chairman. I'm Michael Picar. I'm the Development Director for Neighborhood Renaissance. I'm here with my project manager and our Executive Director, Terry and Carlos. This is Carlos and Terry. We'd like to, okay, on page 6, we're going to start. Our development includes commercial rental apartments and homes for sale. Our objectives are to increase the availability of affordable housing choices in the heart of Boynton. And also, through the commercial development, bring needed services, goods, and programs into the heart of Boynton as well.
You're going to have to talk in the mic. I do apologize. Maybe I need to get me a hearing aid, but I'm not getting it tonight.
Okay, sorry. So, on the map, the green area is the CRA parcel on the north side of the boulevard. We plan a 9,000 square foot retail commercial plaza. In the red area is a 100 unit apartment community, and to the east, to the right, south of the boulevard, The yellow and purple represent homeownership opportunities we think we can fit 4 townhomes on the yellow parcels and 2 single-family homes. And historically, the boulevard actually did have single-family homes as well as commercial. Next.
Sorry, did you say did or did not?
It did.
Okay.
It did,
It
but
still
let me go,
has some,
all right,
but
let me
It had more than it does today.
Stop. Okay, since you're going to say that we had homes on that boulevard. They was called shotgun homes, sir. You could look right from the front door straight through to the back door, okay? It wasn't like we had homes. We had like shotgun homes. Okay? I don't know if you know what shotgun homes are, but it's just like, a 12 by whatever it is that went straight back and you could shoot through the front door and come out the back door.
That's not what we're planning.
I know, but I'm just saying when you start bragging about we had homes on there, we didn't have we had what was good for us then. What's not good for us now.
Okay. For clarification, they're
Thank you.
50-foot wide lots, and you can put a traditional type home like has been developed on the model block.
Okay.
These are our plans for the commercial and the apartment. On the bottom of the page is the apartment complex fronting onto Martin Luther King Boulevard with parking in the rear to the south, and a large plaza to the right-hand side, which is the front door to the apartment complex. We've changed the small building on the left from live-work townhomes to an additional 16 units of rental, which join the apartment community. On the north side is the retail plaza. It's broken up into 2 buildings, 4,500 square feet each, with the plaza in between so that it may be phased. We plan on doing phase 1 and developing a open-air plaza that can be used for crafts fairs, green markets, as well as an entertainment venue. Next. This is a perspective of the apartment community looking to the west on Martin Luther King. It's a 4-story building. It uses a Florida vernacular. There's a mix of trellises, overhangs, and balconies along the boulevard frontage. Will be the community room, offices, gym, to activate the sidewalk. And we also have the opportunity to build an additional 2,000 square feet of retail in this building. Next. This is a perspective of the commercial development. In phase 1, the left building would be built and a paved plaza with shade, either trees or a trellis to the right, and a park where the building is on the right-hand side until the businesses can develop a following and get established. We do phase 1 and then consider doing phase 2, hopefully sooner than later. Next. This is another perspective of the retail plaza. You can notice it's set back on a wide sidewalk for the intent of doing outdoor seating and vending and things like that. So smaller, perhaps like kiosk opportunities for entrepreneurs and startups. Next. And this is another perspective showing how the outdoor seating would work. It's a very wide sidewalk. Also in the design of both sides of the street, especially the apartment community, it's been set back an additional 12 feet to allow for wider sidewalks, on-street parking, shade trees, which the current right-of-way would not allow. So you'd have wider sidewalks and 2 landscape strips, 2 strips of landscaping. And here's just a perspective overlaid onto the existing environment is very striking once you see how it fills in the rest of the neighborhood. One thing we'd like to pay tribute to the pioneers who developed the heart of Boynton community over the last 120 years. And the one that stands out is Robert E. Wells, was one of the original settlers with his wife, and he was instrumental in establishing a church and in bringing the infrastructure, a teacher, to start a school in the heart of Boynton. He also owned a grocery store, some properties, and other businesses. And these were all established on what was Wells Avenue, which is now MLK. We would propose naming the complex, the apartment community, the Robert E. Wells Manors in his honor. And we'd also like to work with the community to find other people and events that happen in the community and try and commemorate him some way, maybe a placard or naming a plaza with a little bit of history about what happened here. Now to get to the financials. With the retail plaza, the first phase is 4,600 square feet with a parking lot and an open-air plaza. The total development cost is $1.9 million to keep the rents affordable, which we think is about $1.25 per square foot per month, which would mean a 1,000 square foot store would pay $1,250 a month for a finished, ready to move in shell or store. That there was a significant amount of subsidy that would be needed to be able to afford to operate in that, the landlord to operate in that manner. I just want to point out that the rent is all that they pay, and the only thing that the tenants would be responsible for would be their utilities. We would pay for all the insurance and maintenance of the building, the triple nets, if you know what I mean. The capital stacker, the financing includes, the rent would support a $315,000 first mortgage. We'd ask for the land to be contributed, as well as a lump sum increment, tax increment of $1.2 million, and a $400,000 second mortgage due in 20 years. Next. Go to page 14. Go back one. Oh, I see what happened. It split pages. We looked at several financial structures and vehicles to finance the apartment community. We've listed them in the order of, go back one. Okay. I'll just describe them for you. We've listed them in the order that, in an order that is most favorable to the CRA, and unfortunately, it's also in the order that they're hardest to get. The first being the 9% tax credits, the second, sale financing, and third, which is a long shot, is CDBG financing. All these are from the Florida Community Housing Finance Corporation. And the fallback financing scenario, if the CRA really wants to build housing, rental housing here, would be a smaller project of 60 units using 4% tax credits and TIF financing from the CRA. Go to the chart. On page 15 of our response is a summary of all the different scenarios. In general, the first 5 on the left do not have 2,000 square feet of commercial space. The 6 through 10, column 6 through 10 on the right, do have the 2,000 square feet of commercial space. And I'll bring your attention to line D, which shows for each scenario what the project could afford to pay for the CRA land on the south side of the boulevard. These scenarios, this is going to get complicated now. Column 1 includes the purchase of the Bell property. Columns 2 through 5 assume only acquiring Loran and the DJ Management property. So, do you all have this information? Okay. So no need to go into detail with it. You can ask questions if you have questions. And then finally, the third component is a homeowner ownership component with the goal to bring back home ownership on the corridor. We would be building, as I said, 8 townhomes and 2 single-family homes on CRA land. We think they can sell in the market at $220,000, but would require about $40,000 each of subsidy because the costs exceed the sales price. One other thing is that we had mentioned we plan to work with the Boynton Beach faith-based CDC to do a job fair to monitor the hiring by our contractors of local businesses, as well as if there's a need for more employees and workmen, and to hire locally as a preference, and also to try and provide some training to the local residents. So we look forward to your selection tonight, and we look forward to, if selected, successfully completing all these components of our proposal.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Board Member Katz, would you like to begin?
Yeah, just a quick question. I don't know if I missed it in the backup. Of the 100 apartment units, how many are going to be age-restricted senior rental apartments?
In the scenario with the sale and the 9%, it would be elderly because the Ocean Breeze East is already family. Florida Housing Finance doesn't want it competing against itself.
Gotcha. So that decision was based on the criteria or the likelihood of being awarded? Okay.
Yeah, I got questions.
I know, I'm asking Board Member Katz. Board Member McCray, you're next.
Thank you.
I guess,
Yeah.
sorry. So understanding that was the justification for it, I understand that, and I can't argue with that. I'm not particularly a fan of trying to restrict the housing in this area to senior. It's just, we have a lot of affordable senior housing in Boynton Beach. You can literally live on the Intercoastal in Boynton Beach for $80,000. I get why you put it in there, as you just explained it. I'm reluctant personally to vote for a project that's age restricted, because if it's not, that means seniors can move in. But if it is, that means families can't move in. So I have an apprehension about that, but I respect the justification for that decision.
Well, let me add that we think that there is a lot of potential for the Opportunity Zone and the Opportunity Funds. Some of the national organizations that work with affordable housing requested that IRS determination, and now they're in the process of trying to figure out how they're going to structure this financing. There are already Opportunity Zone investments, but they're going into like a Dunkin' Donuts in an Opportunity Zone area, maybe an office building or a retail plaza. But to use, and if you did get that kind of a investment and a loan, you could use the 4%, and you could do a non-age restricted project.
Thank you.
Board Member McCray?
Thank you.
Vice Chair, you're next.
Let me make sure we're not going to award anything tonight per your statement, right?
I am in no position to award anything. My suggestion is that we give each of these developers the 30 days until next meeting to come back with some guidance, whether they have an opportunity fund that is willing to invest with them. and if not, open it up to the Opportunity Fund market. This investment tool was because of the 2017 Tax Act that was signed into law. It's, I remember something similar to when 2001 when we cut, was it dividends to capital gains or long-term capital gains, and how much savings people had. This is almost dwarfing that because you're not paying taxes on appreciation of property for 10 years.
Oh, thank you. Let me go ahead now and continue. Okay, first of all, I'm glad to see that there's a lot of Heart of Boynton citizens out here. I see Mr. Akins, who's president of the Heart of Boynton Association. And, this is going to give me an avenue to tell you all I'm not going to vote for anything tonight either, because, first of all, I need to hear from you all one-on-one if this is a plan that you all think would be doable on the MLK Boulevard, whichever way we award it, saying this is what you all want. In regards to naming it Wells, I have no problem with that, but we have the Wells, the Meeks, the Andrews. These was all subdivisions over in the Heart of Boynton. I'd like for you all to discuss that as well. If this is the way y'all want to name these buildings, it's fine with me. But I'm just saying, after the presentations are done, you all have enough information that you all can go back and start dialoguing and making a decision and say, I think one is better than two, and let me know. I'm going to listen to your guidance from the project comes back up before me to vote the way you all say, this is what you all want. I'm going to put it in your hands.
Vice Chair.
I'm in agreement with Commissioner McCray, but since we do have members here in the audience, I would ask or request, Chair, that you just open up for public comments after both presenters have finished, and that way we can get some immediate feedback today.
I was thinking that as well. Thank you. And so I do again thank you for presenting. As I mentioned before, it was within this last month of the opportunity that came out for opportunity zones, and so I'd like to award it to our first two developers that saw the value in this property. However, to pass up the ability of all that financing without, because I know that, what we were seeing here with the 9%, the 4%, or not receiving anything, you're having people that can turn their capital gains into this type of investment. I think there'll be a lot more financing opportunities with the Qualified Opportunity Fund.
The ones that I have seen, when you blend their rate, it's very favorable compared to bank rates, too.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, sir, before you leave.
Sure.
I'd like to talk. Have you heard about this thing that just came out, the tax, whatever the chair is talking about? Is this your first time hearing about it?
No.
It's not your first time. Okay, so you up to speed. Well, keep on running. I'm good.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Have a good evening.
All right. Thank you, Bonnie. Teresa.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Well, first, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to represent our understanding of the board and the CRA and the city of Boynton Beach is trying to achieve, with the understanding that we're only one piece of the revitalization of the 26-acre corridor encompassing MLK Boulevard to Seacrest on US 1, from Seacrest to US 1. I'd also like to apologize for not hitting the nail on the head the first time we came here to present to you, but I feel very confident this time that what we're proposing today will meet the criteria set forth in the board's letter for the additional details, description, enhancement, and clarifications from your letter dated September 14th. I also feel very confident that we're going to meet the board's requirements on the submission evaluation. So from the submission evaluation, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce our team. Sorry, a little excited. I'm here with Paul Boynton. He's our Vice President of Development and Acquisitions. I'm also here with Brian Herbert, who is with Gallo Herbert Architecture. And we have some help from Sophia Nelson, who is part of Merchant Strategies. Sorry about that. So anyway. I just want to get our presentation started. And as far as our 20 points, our points are concerned, from the 20 points and the 25 points, I just wanted to say that from our experience, we're Centennial Management. We've been in business for over 37 years. We have over approximately 4,000 units, and we have been building multifamily homes. We own and manage them. And as far as our conceptual development and how we plan on presenting tonight, it's based off of the Heart of Boynton Beach Community Redevelopment Plan, the feedback that we received from the board and the CRA and the members of the Boynton Beach community, and you'll see that in our presentation. Okay. Wells Landing. The reason we called it Wells Landing is because when we did some research and we went back to the drawing board, we found out that there was a man named Robert Wells, who was one of the first pioneers that came to Boynton Beach. And originally, MLK Boulevard was called Wells Avenue. So our overall development plan, which is part of your number 1 on your letter dated September 14th. Our overall development vision is it's a mixed-use urban development community with some Floridian influence in design and style. We're proposing 124 affordable apartment units, 5,000 square feet of retail, approximately 2,500 to 3,000 square feet of a covered open air or breezeway, 2,500 square foot leasing office or clubhouse for the residents. We have 6-foot pavered sidewalks, on-street parking. We have streetlight parking and beautiful landscaping. We're proposing an art wall for local artists to participate in art in public places. The apartment community is named after Robert E. Wells, and we have a pedestrian-friendly atmosphere with a coffee shop or an outdoor seating area. And if permitted, we'd like to assist in a design or a facade for the adjacent grocery store with CRA funding to help with, there's a grocery store in the middle of the community already. Integration of the history and culture. We reviewed the Boynton Beach CRA redevelopment plan. We named the community after Robert E. Wells, a prominent African-American pioneer. We added urban design concepts in keeping with the history of MLK Boulevard, Old Florida, and Caribbean influences. The new design concept labeled Floridian. Front porches, metal roofs, beautiful pastel colors, retail, catering to the local residents, an art wall in art in public places, created a plaque for the commemoration of the history of Robert Wells Avenue, known today as Martin Luther King Boulevard. Architectural of buildings is tropical in nature and incorporates elements of periods derived from architectural elements reminiscent of the turn of the century in South Florida. Integration of mixed use. create a mixed-use community on the north and south side of MLK Boulevard, mixed-use urban redevelopment community with some Floridian design styles, 124 units, 5,000 retail, 3,250 of approximately covered open-air space, 2,500 square feet of leasing office and clubhouse, connectivity, pedestrian walkways, and street parking and retail shops. I'm going to skip over this as far as the financing is concerned, and we'll come back to that if that's okay. And then we also have the residential units or townhouses, an opportunity for homeownership, use of CRA scattered sites. We intend to build townhouses in partnership with the CRA and apply our experience in utilizing creative financing. We also have a letter from TD Bank that will help us with the first-time home buyers program for the townhouses. Just a little bit about MLK Boulevard Carter and their history. With Robert E. Wells, back in 1992, he established St. Paul's Church, originally named Wells Avenue, and then turned into Martin Luther King Boulevard. And it was really interesting going back, and I'm really kind of glad that you asked us to do it because it was a real learning experience, and we're proud to actually be part of helping recreate MLK Boulevard.
Stay right there. I want them to see, since they talk about Boynton, about the old schoolhouse downtown. That was our old schoolhouse in the heart of Boynton.
Was it?
Yes, I went
Poinciana.
there. Yeah, Poinciana.
Originally was Boynton Elementary School. Okay, let me see. The revitalization of retail on MLK. Our plan will be to contribute to the goal of the revitalization of the MLK Carter through the design of residential and commercial use targeted to the benefit of local neighbors. Over 5,000 square feet on the first floor will be retail. Possible tenants could include a barber shop, ice cream stores, medical care facility, casual dining, trendy coffee shops. We plan to hire local artists to paint murals on some of the buildings and walls reflective of the community's culture and history.
Stay right there.
Excuse, I got a question real quick, though. Can the video see us, or is the screens blocking that? Yeah. I'm asking the videographer that's right there. Can you see us? Okay. I'm glad we figured that out now.
Can't see anything.
So if you want to put those next to you, I think, or facing the camera might be better as well.
Okay, hold on.
Because we already got to take a look at it. Yeah. Well, not blocking the audience either, so I think that's about it.
Okay, while you all are moving around, I'd just like to go back and say that's, to those that don't know, that is Adam's Barbershop. We had a barbershop on MLK Boulevard, top left-hand corner. That was Club Continental, where I had a few cocktails in there. I'm not ashamed to say it, okay? Moving right along.
Walk down memory lane.
All right, thank you.
All right, good.
Yes.
We have Adam's Barbershop and the Continental Club, which was very interesting back in 1950 and 1960. It was a great venue for artists to perform. Some of the artists that actually performed there were James Brown, B.B. King, Fats Walker, and Guitar Slim. Right? Kind of cool.
Excuse me.
So now we come to our site plan, and you can see it's actually a beautiful concept, and I'm really kind of proud of what we've done. And you can see on the north and south side, we have the retail is on the north side with the 5,000 square feet, and then the beautiful breezeway. And that's what it would look like from the street side, and that's actually where Mr. Bell's store is right now, the grocery store.
Okay. And that's a drawing up of Mr. Bell's store?
Well, Mr. Bell's would be in front of that, so.
Oh,
Yeah,
from
this
his
is across
store?
the street.
Across the
Okay,
street.
thank you.
North
All right.
side.
Okay.
So he can keep his grocery store, and we just incorporate it into the new development.
Okay.
Okay.
And that breezeway is, I think, is really important because that breezeway can be used for so many things. You can put an outdoor coffee shop there. You could have local artists come there and entertain and have like a guitar player or drums or whatever they wanted to do every weekend. They could bring people in and be able to use that as a space to start entertaining, because there could be a restaurant there in the retail space. There could be the ice cream store. It could be for families and just entertaining on the weekends, on Sundays, and just bring people in. And now I'm going to have Brian just kind of speak a little bit more about the architecture, and I'll go to the next slide. There you go. Brian?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Brian Herbert with Gallo Herbert Architects. First, I'd like to say thank you for having us. As an architect, a project like this is truly a dream to work on. To help create people places within communities and help to revitalize areas of communities such as the heart of Boynton like this. I'd like to take a little bit deeper dive into the architecture of the buildings. Yeah, I'll take that. Is this button?
Back.
Oh, very good. And sort of the architecture that we're proposing. The buildings will take on what we've called a Floridian style of architecture. It's a blend of Caribbean and Florida architecture. We'd like to utilize the metal roof systems, large overhangs and balconies and people-type places within the architecture. Pastel colors, as you see in the renderings. Also incorporate smaller detailed elements, crafted architectural details that are shown throughout. Another important thing is to create neighborhood building elements within the design. We've incorporated balconies and porches and stoops and courtyards and trellises and colonnades within the design of the architecture. This all creates a more neighborhood-friendly, people-type place. On the ground plane is very important in creating, neighborhood people places. As you can see let me get to that slide there, or here. Okay. The ground plane, what we're trying to do here is to create a pedestrian scale, active, vibrant, safe community area where people can gather at night, gather during the day, and the area which complements the architecture of the remainder of the buildings. In doing so, we've created elements which help foster that development of community place, incorporating light poles and planters and tree grates and so forth that have that common thread throughout the community and throughout the development. One of the big things we're proposing is to also enhance the area with community building type elements. This slide shows the breezeway between the two buildings that are proposed on the north side of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. And it is really an opportunity to create a true community type space where you could have outdoor events, things such as art galleries, things like that. We've shown it here as sort of a coffee shop type feel, but it could be just about anything you want it to be. A place where people can come and gather safely, be well lit, impromptu performances, things of that nature. The other thing we've proposed, and it's in your slides, but if we go back the opportunity for art walls. Does that slide in here? On this way? Okay, sorry about that. The opportunity for local artists to come and produce art and show their talents. There's an opportunity down at the ends of the buildings where we could do that. Also, the incorporation of historical elements, things that remind people of the community, plaques for such as Mr. Wells, things of that nature, which could be incorporated into the elements. Finally, safety. A lot of people overlook this element, but what we've done is incorporated CPTED principles, which is crime prevention through environmental design. This is something that we're big on. Some of the elements that we've created is to create a well-lit environment. Also, eyes on the community. You'll notice that the buildings are situated such that everybody's overlooking sort of the perimeter of the space. It's called territorial reinforcement or sort of surveillance through the community watching over the community. If you're in the area, you kind of feel like, okay, I'm being watched. I don't want to really do something, inappropriate. The other is to create defensible spaces where people feel like, okay, this is a place that is well kept. It's safe. It has elements that truly make it a safe place. And then, of course, surveillance, cameras, things of that nature. There's the art wall, the last one. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer anything about the architecture.
Is there anything else on
Financial piece.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Thank you for having us again. I'm Paul Boynton. We are providing first the experience that we have in putting together the financing required for something like this. I think you're familiar with that. We have been able to successfully obtain 2 9% tax credit and 2 sale deals with Florida Housing just over the last couple of years. And we've also demonstrated to you recently that we're willing to go on a faster track and go buy land cash right away. We have similar options today that we're going to talk to you about. Let me see.
Other way.
No, I wanted to start right there, actually. I'll just speak a little louder if I can.
No, I'm sorry. No, because we were recording this.
Very well. You're right. We'll stay over here.
Or not.
The plans that we submitted initially we had submitted, 15 different options, and it was agreed that was a little bit too many. So we initially had narrowed it down to 3. And what those all entail is to develop the 2 contiguous pieces owned by the CRA on the north side, and on the south side you see with a dark outline there. But in order on the south side to make it into a better flowing and more functional development, we have under contract to purchase 4 lots from Loran. They're in yellow, and the 1 blue lot from DJ. We have some, and so I just wanted you to get a feel for that first, so you can see how it all works before we go back to how the numbers work out in the different scenarios. Before I do that, I'd like to mention that we also could move forward without the acquisition of these lots, but then the 3 lots that the CRA owns all the way to the left, they're kind of surrounded by the yellow lots, become very hard to develop, so we lose a little bit of space. So that's the one reason why we thought it was important to acquire those private properties to make more out of it. So now that we've seen that, we can go back to the summary of the financial options. Here we go. Option number one is one by which we would be able to close immediately. By acquiring all that land from the private buyers is one purchase contract we have for $500,000 for one lot and the other one for $875,000 for the other lots that we looked at. We'd be able to do the 124 units, but it would require a TIF contribution of about $870,000 per year. If that is something that's interested to you, we would be able to close immediately. These sellers do not want to wait for tax credits or sale, so we would buy the land outright, and we could either go forward with the TIF money, or we could move to options 2 or 3 and try for up to 3 consecutive years to get either 9% or sale funding to make this happen, in which case the CRA at any time could step in and say, we don't want to wait any longer, here's the TIF money, and we'll move forward with that. The 9% tax credit is the second option. You're familiar with it. If we were successful to do that the same way we did with the Ocean Breeze East, there would be no TIF money required, and we could pay up to $2 million for the land. The last option is the sale loan, which would require a relatively small TIF contribution of $266,000 to make it work. Now, in light of what Mr. Chairman brought up a little earlier this evening, that there are other options on the table, and I know that you don't want to wait. There is therefore options 4 and 5 as well, which we did not submit, but that would be to move forward strictly with the land owned by the CRA within the same parameters that you saw on that map, the same area, and not move forward with the private purchases. What that would do is, hypothetically, we could get about 90 units, which would require just over $500,000 in TIF. But because of the configuration of those 3 lots that I mentioned to you earlier makes it complicated, it might be closer to 74 units, which we could move forward to immediately and buy the land, or move forward right away, and it would require about $400,000 in TIF. Without any, and that would be slightly fewer units, but also a little bit less TIF money. Any questions about all of that?
Yes, Board Member McCray.
Thank you. It's not about really the finances right now, but I'm just saying the way you said, if we don't get the go back to that the map.
The land.
Yeah, the map that has
The map?
land.
With the private owners.
It's going to be a little clicking, bear with me. Yeah, please. It's that map with the lots and colors. Wonderful.
Okay, you was there. That's what I needed to see.
To come back.
Oh. All right, the ones that said LLL. If we don't get those, you gonna build around those?
We would try to make something out of the 3 lots that are kind of stranded in between there, but I don't know what we'd be able to do with that. So theoretically, we could do up to 90 units, counting that just based on the space, but it's hard to do something because the access from MLK is so narrow, so you don't gain much. So backing those out and just leaving everything else, we'd get 74 residential units, and we'd still offer you all the amenities and all the community benefits and the retail and all that we are planning on the north side. So it'd simply be slightly fewer lots on the south side.
But that will leave the lot owners owning the property in between what we built, and they can come in and say, oh, now I see what you all was trying to do. Now I want to sell you my lot, and we didn't miss an opportunity. So let me understand, you all are going to try to get those lots prior to us. You're not going to, your head is going that way? Oh,
You already have contracts on those
Yes.
lots?
Yes.
thank you. That's what as long
No,
as you
yeah,
got
we-
contracts on those lots, that's what I need to be hearing. The next thing is, you're talking about this art wall, and it keeps coming up. Who's going to be responsible for the art that goes on the art wall, and how long will it have to stay there? You say get artists to come in. That means like it's going to be changed, you know.
These are the things that, at this point, we don't even have the land. So we haven't gone all the way in choosing who's going to do what. And we're not going to make that choice. This is why we're going to work with the local community. That's one reason why Sophia is here with us. That's going to be a big part of her job role if we are awarded this deal. We will work with her as to what kind of retail exactly. We mentioned some options we've considered and who would be the artist, but we understand the importance of focusing on local participation with everything.
Stay right there. I'm the one representing the HOB, and I'm glad that you all are here tonight. You all see what we're up against. I'm just saying, once to go back for y'all view, let me know what you all want to do, and that's the way I'll be looking. Back to the heart of Boynton. Mistaken's your team. For me, I'm good.
Further to your presentation?
Unless there is any other comments, I'd just like to add, we're already invested in this community. We are now property owners right next door. We have a big old market study done for Ocean Breeze. We know that what we have here is a viable deal, and we'd like to continue what we've started.
Board Member Katz, any comments?
Not specifically to the applicant, but when we discuss afterwards.
The
Vice
proposed
Chair?
features, just the rest of the slides.
No.
So, just a question that was brought up by the previous applicant. Do you have any apprehension with going forward with the 9% tax credit and thinking that you may not be able to get it because of the proximity of the other Ocean Breeze? Do you understand my question?
So the previous applicant had inclinated that because you had secured a 9% affordable housing last time, and this project is in close proximity, that by not differentiating the project, such as they suggest by making it senior, to make it different from the Ocean Breeze East?
Yes, we would.
That would potentially hurt the chances of achieving the 9 again?
We would have to consider that, and it might force it to be a senior. Each year, their goals change a little bit, so it's hard to tell exactly what the focus will be, but that is correct.
I apologize to jump in, but is it accurate to say that it diminishes your chances of getting the 9% again if this project is perceived to be very similar to the project you already awarded the 9% on in close proximity?
It's not a perception. It is, if it is within a certain distance, we'd have to focus on a different, the first year around. This doesn't last forever, but the first year we'd have to go in with elderly, and then subsequently, if not successful, then the proximity issue goes away.
So the distance between the award and your next application is the
I'm
trigger.
sorry.
The time period between your application and award now with Ocean Breeze East and your next application on any project is the determining factor. The farther the distance between applications, the more likely it is that you can go back for multifamily because you got a multifamily award.
Yes, it's only supposed to ensure that a certain development gets stabilized without immediate competition next door. So it will affect the upcoming cycle, but then it goes away.
So that being said, you were awarded the 9% this year, 2018. If this were to fall in your favor, you wouldn't be applying till next year because we've already missed the cycle for this year, correct?
We would have to apply for a different demographic next year.
So next year would be the other application. You would have to apply it next year as for an elderly?
Yes.
Okay.
If you chose, if the decision by the board was to use 9% application as opposed to another funding source.
Okay.
Is that fair to say?
Yes, of course. We have no issue if we move forward with any one of the TIF options, either buying the private land and getting more units, 124 units, or not buying private land and getting 74 units with less TIF money. We could close immediately, and that would not be an issue, of course.
I understand. I just needed to clarify what the 9% entailed. I will reiterate something that my colleague said here, Board Member Katz. I'm not necessarily interested in going the elderly or senior apartments route. So whatever we would need to do to maintain it multifamily would be that would be my preference. I do have a couple other comments to make. You said that you would be building townhouses in partnership with the CRA. Can you please elaborate on that? Because you only mentioned it as a line on a slide, and I didn't see anything else further. So I'd like to know more what you mean by that.
Our plan is focusing primarily on the multifamily rental portion, and that is our goal, that is our target. However, we're just making it clear that if we are awarded that, then we will work with you, and we'd be more than happy to do townhouse developments for ownership as well.
On the scattered lots.
Yeah, on those scattered lots that were showed on the same map.
Got it. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Last thing I want to mention is, based on your presentation 2 months ago and your presentation today, I have a question for you, and it's not a rhetorical question, but do you see the difference in the reception of your presentation today compared to 2 months ago, not only from this board, but from the audience? Do you see the difference?
Please, go ahead.
Absolutely, we see the difference.
Thank you for answering the question. And that's what I was looking for last month or 2 months ago. It was the excitement around this project. It was the buy-in for this project and development of this corridor. That's what's necessary to make this project successful, not the square footage, or that stuff is important too. But if the members of the community who live here and work here and purchase things here and go to barber shops and nail salons here, if they're not excited about it, then this project will not get off the floor. But I mean, you have people reminiscing about their schools and concerts that they used to go to. That's what we need to tap into, and that's what will lead to a successful reculmination of this corridor. So thank you for doing the due diligence that we asked of you, and I think you can see it in just a few people who are here. I mean, it's not representative of the whole, but at least you can see from the few that are here, you do have a positive, somewhat reception to what you've presented tonight. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. We were remiss in not doing that the first time around, and I truly am sorry, because it was really
Please don't
eye-opening.
apologize. I don't want you to apologize. It's not your
Just give a
fault.
copy to the
I
clerk
think
as
it
well.
had to take us hashing out
we
the
already
details
have these?
in order for you to kind of get a better
please give a copy to
direction
the
of where
clerk
we
as
were
well.
going to, so
The
don't
clerk?
apologize.
Well, we are excited, and it was
For
a
the
real
record.
learning experience, and thank you for asking us to do it.
One of my questions regarding Centennial is, has they ever converted any of their apartments into condos?
No, we have not.
Okay. Because one of the things that is a downside is that there's no opportunity for the equity to remain in the community. You know, Centennial is based out of Hollandale Beach. That means all the ownership of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard would be outside of Boynton Beach. And I think that's a huge problem for me, because without the ability for, you know, ownership of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard to remain with Boynton Beach residents is something that I would not want to move forward with. All right. Is there any other? Yes, Board Member Katz.
So we discussed the 9% and the need to differentiate project in a timely, you know, time-constrained manner. The sale tax credits, does that same logic apply? Like, if you didn't go for the 9 or didn't get the 9 but went for the sale, would you similarly have to utilize the senior housing aspect?
Yes, it's similar. which is why, in light of this and in light of the comments earlier, I dropped off the additional pro formas. I know you didn't want too many, but those are the ones that are the cheaper but fewer unit TIF-only options that we could close on the land immediately and move forward on immediately.
Does the 1-year limitation also come into play? If we just wait 1 year, would that eliminate those requirements, like you said, for the 9%?
It's not guaranteed 1 year. I can't tell you exactly. It depends on how the Florida Housing views the stabilization. So I can't give you an exact timeline as to how long they will maintain the restriction.
But just to clarify, if I did understand what you said earlier, you just mentioned that it's to give stabilization to the initial project. So as long as that's built and it's been fully funded and leased out, then that allows for another project to come in and not get competition, or am I still not understanding that correctly?
You're understanding the concept correctly, but it doesn't translate into an exact number of months, or it doesn't translate into, okay, you now have 100% occupancy or 93.5% occupancy, therefore we take you off the list. So it's not that straightforward. So I can't guarantee an exact time frame before it gets released.
So last question, I promise. If then, it almost seems as if we kind of have to go into this route of creating senior or elderly housing to get the 9% or the 4%, are we, in essence, handcuffed and we can't use those additional outside funding sources?
I'm very glad that you asked that. The sale and the 9% is restricted. However, if we go what I call the TIF-only route, that still allows us to apply for tax-exempt bonds and 4% tax credits. Those are not restricted at all.
What are those scenarios financially?
That is, in the initial package, it's scenario number 1, and then I handed it out scenario number 4 and number 5. And no, that's the
CRA.
old.
Okay. Is that what that is?
No, we've changed everything.
So
So we have scenario number 1 is where we would buy these private lots, and you'd get 124 units, but that would include bond funding and 4% tax credits. You'd still have to come up with $873,000 approximately in TIF money on an annual basis for 15 years.
that's the 4% in TIF option?
Yeah, that's the 4% bond and TIF. Because there is no competitive money there. There's no contingency. You just have to go through underwriting and close and move forward, which is basically a formality. And we have today now submitted 3 of those options. It's option 1 and the 4 and the 5 that I just dropped off. And the only difference is fewer units, less TIF, or more units, more TIF.
Is there any other comments or questions from the board?
I'd like for you to ask your question again, Mayor or Chair, that you asked to the previous applicant regarding the opportunity. I don't know, you know more about it. Can you ask that?
So that's why I was going to end with this question, is regarding the Opportunity Fund. I'm sure you're aware of that this area is in an opportunity zone. So that's the financing contribution, developer funding contribution of 1.375. If he uses his capital gains, he doesn't have to pay taxes on those capital gains for 10 years, and any appreciation on that 1.3 million would not be taxed as a capital gain. Plus, he would also have a reduction of 15% if he kept it those 10 years. And so that's kind of where, we just got this information in late October regarding the opportunity funds, and this being the opportunity zone. I can't, it's not unconscious for me to award this project without some opportunity fund being involved, because the access to capital is amazing with these opportunity funds, because you're getting them below whatever you can, borrow at it from a bank.
I believe if you could put that in the form of a question to the applicant, is that, would you be willing to look into this opportunity fund, or do you know what it is? Is it something you've done before?
We are, I personally, no, we just talked about it. We who are here are not familiar with it. We certainly will look into it. We don't know what, I understand it is a fairly new program. I'm not sure what issues or complications might be involved with it. So we'd hope that you'd consider one of our TIF-only if your concern is mostly the timeline of it, but we certainly are willing to look into it.
Okay. Is there, yep, Board Member McCray?
Okay, this is not for either one of the presenters. This is for the executive director.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Board member, are we done with the applicant?
So let me ask you
I would
that.
like to
Board Member McCray, is there any other questions you have for the applicant? Because if you have a question for the executive director, I'm going to invite the other group to come in to hear your question.
Go ahead. This is for the executive director.
Okay, Bonnie, do you mind getting the other group?
So we're in? Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you again for the opportunity. And I want you all to know that this really isn't about us, but it's about the city of Boynton Beach and what you want. It's not about what we want, and we want to try to give it to you, if we can.
Board Member McCray, please
Thank
begin.
you. Since we will not be making a selection tonight, because I want to feel comfortable, I'd like for the executive director to get with Mr. Willie Akins, who's president of the Heart of Boynton Association, and get some of these copies to them, I'm just saying, so that they can meet and they can dialogue, and then they can have questions and come back and meet with you before it comes back before us. And I'm just saying, I'm just trying to help to alleviate and save some time. I want them to be placed in the loop since they represent the Heart of Boynton, and I want them to be in touch with what we're trying to do. Okay?
I'd like to
Thank
second that. All right, and so we're going to open it up to public comments regarding the consideration for the RFQ for MLK. Speakers will be limited to 3-minute presentations. If you'd like to go beyond your 3 minutes, please step aside for the next person to speak, and we will give you time after that. Is anyone like to speak on the RFQ for MLK at this time? All right. Seeing none? Nope. Yep.
No.
Thank you, Tony.
My name is Torrio, 407 Northeast 17th Avenue, apartment 101, Boynton Beach, Florida. I would like to ask the second developer, ask them what going to be the economical development, employment in our community, and management of retail.
Tony, I don't want to hurt you. Like, you may get an answer for them later.
Oh, okay, you can't answer
But,
that.
not right now. They're not going to be able to answer you.
Oh, okay.
But if you'd like to ask any of your questions for us or give us your comments, we'll be much appreciative of that.
So when they do come with these developers, I mean, I like to. And when they do come, are we going to have some fine print where the community is going to have a chance to get these jobs? Is that going to be on fine print? Because we don't need to hear it. We need to see something on print.
This is just stuff you can request.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm saying in the future, is it going to be something that they're going to draw up, they're going to be willing to give the minorities in the community a chance to be a part of something great?
Yeah, a community benefits agreement, that is something we can definitely require.
And the questions that you're asking, this is why I'm saying go back to the Heart of Boynton, and meet with your group, and then these are questions that you get with Mr. Simon, you all, and this will be things that they will bring back to us and say these are your concerns, and then we have we all will hear it at the same time, but we understand what you're talking about. We do want to have an agreement where individuals that are able to work can be employed.
Okay, thank you.
We heard it. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no more public comments, I guess, what would this board like to do? Have a motion to table?
Motion to table.
For how long? And I would request that the motion include the two developers go out and look for opportunity funds to help with the investment of the property.
Okay, my motion to table, I'm just going to say, well, 60 days or 90 days, I'm just saying, I'm trying to get a happy medium for you all to come back after you do your research, and then also loop the heart of Boynton into that. Will 60 days be long enough, or y'all want 90 days? I'm just saying, you know, we waited this long. I don't see any point in us rushing anything at this point.
I would prefer 60 days.
60 days?
Yep.
For the January meeting?
The January meeting, yep.
Motion to table for 60 days.
Second with discussion?
Yes.
I feel like we need to flesh out a little more about what we're requesting. And right now, to my understanding, we're just saying for these two applicants to explore options with regards to the opportunity zone. Like that's what we're saying over the next 60 days, look into that. What happens? I need to know what happens if at the end of 60 days,
sorry about that,
nothing has been accomplished by one or both of the applicants. So what happens at the end of the 60 days?
So from what I can see with the motion is that there will be community meetings with the executive director and the Heart of Boynton Beach Association. And according to Board Member McCray, we will get input from the community regarding which project they would like to see. Is that?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
You
sorry,
know,
not which project, but which
No,
aspects.
pros and cons of each project. This is good. This project, this is good for this project, and then bring them back to us, and then we will make a decision from looking at the pros and cons. I don't want them to come back and saying, I want you to vote for this project. That's not the way I wanted to go out. I wanted to go out saying, this is good, this is good, this is bad, this is bad, you know, so we could weight both sides. That's the way I wanted to go.
Board Member Katz?
So just to try to understand this, we're asking two different things here simultaneously. We're saying take the next 60 days to explore the opportunity zone, financial equation, and speak to the community with regards to the proposal to get input and potentially refine. So again, kind of the community input is a separate aspect. What is this board's ultimate decision at the end of the 60 days if nothing comes back with regards to the opportunity zone? I'd like a little more clarity on that aspect of it.
The way that I see it is that, according to the original RFP that we sent out back last summer, we weren't happy with either one of the developer options in September. So we asked them to redo that, those two options. We definitely got, better options this time. What Board Member McCray's motion is to include public comments, or I'm not sorry, is it a private meeting or a public meeting with the executive director?
However they want to do it, it's public meeting. They can invite public. They want to invite him to the meeting. It's in public.
The question is that the developers are allowed as well to attend that meeting?
If they have questions for them, I'm just saying it's not going to weigh our decision. I'm just saying they need to do their presentation.
So are we setting a requirement that each of the applicants must schedule a community to community?
No.
Or you're saying that the CRA staff is going to present these two proposals to the community for input?
I want to leave the developers out, Heart of Boynton, and this. We already seen the presentations. They've seen the presentations, and this is where we do pros and cons.
Okay,
So-
I understand that now.
So does that mean that in response to these community meetings, the CRA staff is going to then engage each of the developers to provide, again, I'm trying to understand.
No.
No.
So
we're just asking the community to weigh the two projects?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And the next thing, in regards to the finances, the only finance that they need to go back and look at is the one that you brought up tonight.
Yep.
Because they gave us everything else.
All right. Vice Chair, you had any more comments?
No.
All right. Will you like to say something before we
Yes, I'd just like to give my name for the record. My name is Willie Akins. I live at 726 Northeast 1st Street. I'm the president of the Heart of Boynton Neighborhood Association. And and just in case they don't know me, I want them to know me, so when we set up these meetings, and I think the neighborhood need to have a voice and need to say and see exactly what's coming for us.
Okay.
So Mr. McCray is correct. I think that you should come to the community first before you even come here, because it's so important that they have a voice and
Okay.
has to be heard. So yes,
Absolutely.
I'll be more than welcome to get with them, set up an appointment with them, and it's for the public. So we do want to have a voice from the neighborhood.
Okay.
Thank
Right,
you.
but Ms. Akins, we didn't have anything first before we came here. That's why we had to get something to come here, so now we're giving it back to you all.
I thank you so much for that. Now
All
that
right.
we have it, we can just run with it now, and we will have the neighborhood voices being said. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any further discussion from the board? Seeing none?
Board Chair, I would request a clarified motion because I believe it was changed slightly.
Okay. So Board Member McCray, if you could clarify your motion regarding or let me see if I can clarify it. In the motion to table for 60 days, with the opportunity of the two developers to look into financing through an opportunity fund, and for direction of the executive director to have a community meeting with the Heart of Boynton Beach Association.
Thank you.
All right.
Got it?
If someone seconds.
Yes.
It's already been seconded.
No, I needed to clarify it, so I need a second on the clarification.
Second, the executive director, do you have a comment?
Is there any other clarification that you may need?
The clarification I would want is what is expected, from what I'm understanding of the motion, this discussion with the Heart of Boynton president and a public meeting, let's say, with other members of the Heart of Boynton committee on the pros and cons of these two proposals is not designed to be a public input meeting with developers answering questions.
Correct.
Because this is still part of an RFQ process
Correct.
for the board's
The developers
decision.
are not
Very
invited
good.
to the meeting.
Uninvited.
That is why you're presenting the developers'
Very good.
projects that they presented to us tonight.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Is there any further comments from the board? Seeing none, all those.
Hold on.
Yep.
Board Chair, one more clarification for the respondents. I think I'm going to kind of build this question off of Board Member Katz's question to the board. If during the 60-day period, both of the respondents find zero effect or zero connection to an opportunity fund, then they both come back and that's the report. There's not a pass or fail on whether they find or don't find.
So,
Okay. I
for
just want them
example,
to know.
the situation is that the first time they gave us 13 different options. Centennial, this time they gave us 5 options. We got different options as well from Neighborhood Renaissance. And correct, they did not have the week worth of notice after submitting this second proposal to go seek for opportunity funds because of it, from the guidance from the IRS.
Okay, great.
And so that's kind of where we'd like to give the 60 days because, right now, people sell stocks at the end of
Yes,
the
sir.
year or at the beginning of the next year that they may want to invest in, an opportunity fund to build this MLK project.
I just wanted to make sure that as a proposer, they knew what you were expecting. So thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
And yes, you have one final comment?
Yeah, a serious correction. I got a little flustered here earlier. Whenever you qualify for the 9% tax credits, when you qualify for the local government area of opportunity, which is what we do, which we did with Ocean Breeze East, then we're not subject to the distance limitation from Ocean Breeze East. So as long as we do it the same way as we did before, where you give only us the bigger local government contribution, we can do the family 9% tax credits without any regard to how close we are to the other property. And I do apologize. I just got a little flustered earlier. I gave the wrong answer and wanted to make sure I corrected that.
All right. Yes, Vice Chair, then Commissioner, Board Member Katz.
So in essence, there would be no requirement to make it elderly or senior housing. It can be multifamily. Correct. Thank you very much.
Board Member Katz.
Yeah, so I'll tip my hand just because it's a public meeting and it's the only opportunity I have to say it. If we were put to a decision today, absent the 60-day tabling, just based on the evaluations and the merits of the project, I would have personally pushed for Centennial. I'm happy to hear that the 9% isn't diminished by the previous project that you're awarded. So I guess to both groups, in particular Neighborhood Renaissance, do your best, I suppose, to come up with something regarding this opportunity zone stuff, because right now, if I'd had to make a vote tonight, it would have been for Centennial to go for the 9%, and even with the TIF funding as the exclusive funding mechanism, personally, we've invested heavily in Town Square. I have no problem at this point in time, subject to negotiations with CRA staff, to going in for that substantial amount of money under the TIF financing. So again, to both applicants, entertain and look into the opportunity zone financing aspect. But if it were today, I would have chosen Centennial. Whether they get credits or not, I think the project fits with at least what I believe to be the future of this area.
All right. Vice Chair.
Right. Since this is a 2-2 board at this time, and there are already 2 members who have mentioned that they would prefer to wait to see what happens with the what you mentioned, Mayor. You just learned about it. I'm not aware of it. If it's an opportunity to bring in money, I'm more than happy to look into it. But I was ready to make a decision tonight, and I definitely would second Commissioner Katz's comments about going with Centennial, because I do believe they understood what we were looking for. I would have still preferred to see more opportunities for single family or ownership opportunities, but I believe, again, we can keep rectifying that as we build out MLK. So that's where I'm leaning, and that's where I would have gone had this whole opportunity zone thing not come up, but let's see what comes out of that.
Board Member Craig.
Thank you. Mayor, I'm glad you brought that in, because I wouldn't have voted for either one without input from the Heart of Boynton. I'm just saying it affects the Heart of Boynton, and we should have met with them and got some input after these things have been given to us. I'm just saying this is what the community want. I don't want us to feel like we're getting a project and throwing it down their throat and saying, we voted on this and y'all going to take it and live with it. I wouldn't have voted for it without the input of the Heart of Boynton. After all, we are invested citizens as well, and we should at least have a voice in what is the decision of this group.
Okay. And so now we can say our opinions. I was going to go with Neighborhood Renaissance for the fact that they are having the 9,200 square feet of commercial space. One of the things that I learned about the National League of Cities is that it's one thing to keep on putting these affordable homes, but if there's no opportunity for the people that live there to work, it makes things much harder if they have to commute long distances. The other aspect of it was, like I said before, the equity aspect. I would not want this to, all this property to be owned by someone who doesn't plan on living in Boynton Beach, and that the retail shops, all of the apartments would be owned by someone outside. I think the ownership of the MLK should still remain in Boynton Beach, and try to allow for, if it's not possible at the beginning, to allow for a transition program for the property to be sold later on. Yes, Board Member Katz.
To dump as much information out there as possible for the applicants, in accordance with what I kind of said earlier, I will not support any project that has restrictive housing to seniors. I think it needs to be open to all potential, tenants. I hear what everyone's saying about the ownership opportunities. I don't think either company, unless they come back and state otherwise, has expressed the ability to build these multifamily units, condo fashion, I suppose, and sell them off. So I don't know if there's a way to get to that point, but I haven't seen or heard anything to that effect. Just financially, I don't know if it's feasible, and that they could enlighten us the next time they come back. But again, we're at a public meeting, so I'm trying to dump out as much information as I can.
All right. Any other last opportunity from the board? Okay. Motion has been seconded. All those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion to table for 60 days has approved unanimously. Thank you again for the applicants for your presentations, and look forward to hearing from you again. We're moving on to our social media outreach program.
Good evening, Board. My name is Renee Roberts. I am the Social Media and Communications Specialist for the CRA. Do you have any questions on the report, or would you like me to go through it?
You can give a summary.
Okay. I began in April, and since April, we have 53 businesses that are currently registered for the Social Media Outreach Program. 13 of those businesses have been added since April, and 93 businesses total have been visited within our district. A new part of our program, a new element, is the evaluation and organization of the businesses into beginners, intermediate, and advanced levels, based on demonstrated experience with social media. I've also begun to create training modules based on these experience levels. We held our first group training session on July 24th. 10 businesses were registered. And I've assisted in connecting businesses with local blog writers and some social media influencers to increase their exposure on social media. Another element of the program is the initiation of 2 special social media campaigns. One was during Small Business Week, which took place in May. It resulted in 9,665 total reach. And our Beat the Heat BB summer campaign, it was hashtag Beat the Heat BB. It was to promote our local businesses during the summer months and try and drive engagement on the CRA pages. Some other projects also include, I attended and presented at the Florida Redevelopment Association Conference. We had a special session on our SMOP program, along with Twee and Teresa. I've also assisted in recruiting local CRA businesses for the Haunted Pirate Festival, and during the festival, I managed the CRA and the Pirate Fest social media during the event to help out with our events team. Some upcoming things that are exciting. I've been working with Twee in the GIS mapping of our businesses within the CRA district so we can better make sure that we are reaching out to all of our businesses equally. We're working with the city's GIS department in a way to track the businesses that have been visited and the ones that come in based on their BTRs. I'm also assisting with the Rock the Plaza events. I'm planning on creating a press kit and social media 101 packet for the businesses and visiting those businesses 2 weeks prior to the event so we can build up some momentum on social media for these upcoming events and for the businesses. I'm also continuing to develop training modules. I'm working on a beginner's level and further intermediate levels currently.
Well, that's amazing. I missed the presentation, but I know Michael Corbett was there, and I'm sure he was singing your praises of what our CRA is doing to help job growth and helping entrepreneurs, be succeeding. One of the things that I could ask for is, could you give us the totality of, what were the likes when they started, what the likes are now, if you can, I don't know if you have that sort of metric.
I don't have those exact metrics for you. I can certainly get them for you. Part of what we've done is I've kind of changed the program a little bit. I'm not actually running the business's social medias, but I'm teaching the business owners how to run their own social media. So I'm not as involved in the back end of theirs, but I'm sitting with them and training them how to run their own social media.
Okay. But could you just look at the websites, what they have now, and then we'll go back? And then, so your next, we do 6-month reports?
We can report back. We were planning to do it quarterly, like we've done in the past.
Okay.
And we can provide some of that analytics for you.
And so, I'd love to see that, because I know that they all have Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, and if you just have that sort of spreadsheet to say, hey, this is the growth that's happening, and of your, because it will also go from beginning, intermediate, and advanced, because I'm sure the beginning people have a greater percentage of likes versus the advanced.
Right.
Any other questions from the board? Thumbs up. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to the discussion and consideration of lease terms for the property located at 201 Northeast 9th Avenue. Would you want public comments to go first or staff's comments?
Why don't we, I want to hear public comments first.
All right.
Woodrow Hay, 427 Northwest 5th Avenue, Boynton Beach, Florida. I'm here to speak on behalf of the young person, the lady who's living at 201 Northeast 9th Avenue, Miss Wanda McLeod. She called me and expressed what's going on, and since she is bedridden, but she's not inactive, she has asked for an extension. I know maybe more than once, maybe more than twice, but she is actively trying to find another place to live. I know that you are within your rights to terminate the lease or put her out or whatever, but I'm here tonight to appeal to your compassionate side as to here is a lady who's been a part of this community for quite some time. And it's not like she is not actively trying to find a place. But as you know, or maybe you don't know, her income is only about $903 a month. And it's very difficult to find a place with that kind of income. I have a list. I went by her place today, and I have a list of places that she has been calling with the names, with the phone number, and what the action is. And it goes from the $1,800 to she's waiting, there's a waiting list, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I brought this just to show you that she's really actively trying to find a place to live. And I listened to you tonight. There's not an immediate plan. You've given a 60 days extension for the developers. And I'm here to appeal to you to give her a little more time. Now, I'm going to be involved myself now that she's called me. And I also reached out to P2P, Kimberly Bush, who is the CEO of Pathway to Prosperity. And she shared with me this afternoon some ideas on how we can help this individual. So again, we're not taking too much of your time. I'm asking for you to just work with us and let us not put her out at this time when we really don't have a plan that's urgent that we got to do it tomorrow. So work with me, work with P2P, and let's see what we can do for this long-term resident of Boynton Beach who's bedridden, but she's constantly on the phone. If you want a list of this, I'll give it to you, okay?
All right. What I'd like to present to the board is that, we did not make a decision on the MLK property, which this is located on. I know for a fact that if we were trying to pursue an eviction, it would not be good, and it would cost us anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000. What I would like to do is that I don't know if she's paid for November's rent.
No, sir, she has not.
And so, my thinking is that we gave her until today. Is that how much time we gave her until?
We extended it to
October
October 30th.
Yeah.
She is in now. We just haven't.
Now she's considered a holdover. And so she would have to pay double if we were trying to do that. I know that. The way that I see it is that, we're coming into the holidays. I'd like to, give her that extension of the 60 days, with the contingency that if she does not pay for November's rent, then she's not able to stay for December. So she would pay for November's rent, December's rent, and that if the board allows it, rather than trying to evict her, give her the minimum $1,500 to work as a security deposit for the successful leaving of the property. If she, finds a place within those 2 months that needs that $1,500.
Okay.
So basically, we've collected rent from her for the past how long?
Since we took ownership in March.
And she's paid.
Yes, sir.
And so this is almost in the sense is that we're paying back some of the money she's paid to us to live there, so that it's an easier move than trying to evict someone. And I'm trying to incentivize rather than punish. Board Member McCray, this is your district.
Thank you. But it's the city of Boynton,
And
okay?
I know. No, it's the city of Boynton.
No, it's the city of Boynton, yes. Okay, on the serious side, she gave us a letter this afternoon, okay, and the CRA, Reverend Hay, we have been working with her. I'm just saying, we have a whole stack of information that we've been helping her along and making phone calls as well. So I don't want nobody to go out here saying that we did not try to do anything. We worked with her. We gave her extension after extension after extension. I'm only one person, and like I said, as long as you came in and said that you were sure that you're going to work with her, P2P is going to work with her and try to see what you all can come up with, and with that, at least we know that we have somebody viable who's willing to work with her. I'm willing to do what the mayor said. It's fine with me. I'm just saying,
Thank you.
Board Member Katz.
Yeah, so since we state our decision, I have no personal problem with granting a 60-day extension pending her payment of her rent to look into it. But I think that in 60 days, when this comes back to us, if we make a decision in accepting this 60-day delay, she needs to agree that if in 60 days she still found no remedy, but we have made a decision to move forward, that at that point she has 30 days to vacate the property. I don't want to be continuously put in this situation. I think that basically means she has 90 days. I assume that whoever we go with, if we made a decision in the January meeting, they wouldn't need the property vacated in January. So to me, I think that the goal is to find alternative housing by January. But if we make a decision and she hasn't by January, that by the end of January, I don't want to keep going down this road, especially if we've committed to a developer. So I'm willing to give 60 days plus 30 to vacate and find alternative.
I agree with that, so that if she's still living there in the February meeting, that we will proceed with the eviction process. Asking about my comment regarding, I know that certain public housing associations, if they, they will give some of the payments back to that person to help with a security deposit. As a quasi-government agency, I think that, there's something we can do that I think would help alleviate some of the issues that she was saying that she was having with the security deposit, because I would believe that she's living paycheck to paycheck, and
I'm doing that too.
I know.
You could even.
Don't
I'm
worry.
sorry, Board.
Yeah.
So I got, I think, two questions. One, I'd rather personally commit to help her if that's legally permissible than to say, if you don't leave by February, we're going to pay you $1,500 versus evicting you. I feel like
I'm saying that if she doesn't leave in our good terms, that opportunity for the $1,500 is not available.
So if alternative arrangements in those 60 days.
Because we'll be spending that money on a lawsuit.
Okay.
So.
And to the director, we're able to do that. We could refund $1,500 in rent or whatever, however we call it.
Yes.
Okay.
Assistance, yeah.
I'd also like to suggest, if it's okay with the board, to go to a date certain rather than the 60-day and say January 31st, you're extending her current residency to the 31st of January, and then follow through with the 30 days.
Okay, so it's almost 90 days with the caveat that any sort of moving assistance or security deposit assistance of $1,500 would expire on January 31st, if not used.
Okay.
May I have a motion?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor, for your assistance with this constituency issue.
Thank you.
Moving on to CRA Cottage District Project Update. Michael?
Yes, sir. Board, I just wanted to bring forward a quick update for you. It's in the backup and the cover. We have had several meetings with Neighborhood Renaissance, both as staff in our office. We've had meetings with city staff and planning and development to go over various site plan options, direction from that we took from the board with regard to how you'd like to see the project change from the original submission. Things are going very well with regard to those meetings and to their response to both city comments and comments from CRA staff. We are on schedule to bring back to you at the 90-day mark, which would be the December meeting, provided there is one at this time, with a concise report on what they've decided to propose to you, and have more of a presentation on their part and for a formal decision on going forward with negotiation or not. But that's the report this evening.
Okay. Is there any comments from the board? Yes.
Just that, because I know that Neighborhood Renaissance still has some people here, that I thoroughly love the project that you guys put forward, and I look forward to seeing what comes out of these negotiations.
All right. One of my comments is that there's a couple there. I know there's a mango tree or two that I think that's on the CRA property. If we could do whatever we can to save those types of trees. There's some very good shade trees as well. So, I don't know necessarily the landscaping of it or what it would take to move those trees. But that's kind of something that I would like to see saved if all possible, because I definitely feel that adds a lot of value.
And mangoes.
Yes, and they're delicious. All right, Board Member McCray, any comments?
Good.
All right, thank you. Moving on to project update of 211 East Ocean Avenue.
The board had requested that staff start investigating into the current physical condition of the, and the cost of relocating the structure on the 211 East Ocean Avenue property. In the backup, staff has included a preliminary cost for the relocation, which amounts to $78,000. That is just the physical moving of the building. There's utility costs as well as traffic, maintenance of traffic costs to direct traffic while this move is taking place. We estimate that would probably be the total cost of $125,000 to do this.
How far is that move?
That will be moved to the Cottage District as
Okay.
originally requested by the board.
So maybe a half mile, quarter mile?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and is that because of the distance, let's say it's 2 miles, is that exponentially more expensive or no?
It all depends on the utilities that's in the right-of-way and how wide the right-of-way is.
Got it.
So how many, I think Seacrest is a pretty large right-of-way,
The
so it's not
question,
as
are the
much as if
electrical
you're going
poles-
ocean. Yes.
Yeah.
And then also, it also looks at how many, if it's a state road that you're going into versus a local road versus a county road. So there's policing that needs to be done when you move.
Because if we go across Boynton Beach Boulevard, that's a state road versus going
Exactly.
on Seacrest, which is a county road.
Or the FEC tracks.
Yep.
So you'd have a lot more policing that has to be done with each of those right-of-ways.
Okay.
So with that, again, staff is here for any direction, further direction on this.
Did we issue an RFI if
And-
somebody wanted the property? Or
Act-
wanted the building, I'm sorry.
Actually, I wanted to add also, since this is a contributing building, a historical building, staff would like to go to the Historic Preservation Board to seek their input.
Okay.
In the staff report, we are scheduled to go this month, and we can report an update or provide an update to the board at the December 11th meeting. because we want to
Okay.
make sure that we go through the steps in doing the right thing.
All right, appreciate it. Yes, Board Member McCray.
Thank you. First of all, how much did we pay for that building?
$150,000.
$850,000, and to move it is going to be another $125. That would be $975,000. They might not like me. How much would it cost to tear that thing down?
But probably between 15 and 20,000, I would say.
Thank you.
Board Member Katz.
Yeah, I think reading what Board Member McCray said, I might be in the same boat there. I know that we invested heavily in the property. I think that the bulk of that investment is in the land value at this point, not the building itself. I won't personally vote to spend $125,000 to relocate the building. I don't know if through looking for someone who's interested in the structure itself that they cover costs or something, but if in order for me to save that building, that price has to come down like in the $50,000 range. I feel like it's going back in time, but the decision might have been premature to buy it with the expectation of saving it with no particular plan. We're beyond the point, I think, where we can double down on the property and keep spending money. So I'm not comfortable with the 125.
No, I understand that, and I think it's, the question is that it is a historic building. The problem is that we don't necessarily have a place for that. Any house built in the 19 teens is going to take a lot of upkeep, and it's going to be a labor of love for whoever owns that. We kind of learned that it's not necessarily a extremely viable commercial location. And so that's kind of where, my thought process is that I just wanted to see the number to get a better idea of what we could do. But unless there's somebody who wants to work with us for that house, I don't necessarily see that, keeping the house as its best use. So, that's kind of where I'm at.
The board, from a staff perspective, it was my intent at the November 26th meeting to have an honest and kind of frank discussion with the Historic Preservation Board so that we didn't catch the community off guard with the desire of the board to see if we couldn't find someone interested in accepting the house. Provided the response from the Historic Preservation Board is not one that I feel is important to get back to you before we put a letter out of interest, soliciting interest for the building. I will do that if the Historic Preservation Board meeting is resulted in a conflict that I think you should be aware of before we do that. If you would provide me that trust, that I would bring it back to you at the December meeting and say, this is what was said, and get your direction from there. If it's understanding and they appreciate the position we're in, and we have to go through their board anyway, regardless of what we do to the house. So I think it's a good thing to do. And
just to start the process,
yes, sir.
my other question is the house actually walkable? So for the fact that the CRA owns it, can the CRA board take a tour of it?
Of course, absolutely. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I'll probably plan that
Happy to
with you.
set that up. Anyone that would like to come in, we can do
Okay.
that. Very
This
simple.
one.
I don't mind seeing it either.
You wanna see it
I'd
too?
like to see it too. And yes, my comments are simply, yes, I'd like to hear what the Historic Preservation Board has to say. And I really am interested in having the public weigh in and see if there are any interested individuals that would want to take over this home. I'm always interested to preserve our history here in Boynton Beach, and if there's any possibility of doing that with a individual or a group that would be willing to work with us, because I know there are a lot of people out there who this is what they're passionate about, preserving old buildings and historically significant buildings. So I'd like to entertain those options before we just move forward to just demolishing it.
I'd make a great train station if we were closer to having that platform built on an ocean, but we're far ahead from there.
Yeah,
so.
we don't own that property.
We don't no.
And we need that
Right.
parking lot.
Super.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now moving on to the project update for 480 East Ocean Avenue.
Yes, Board. Again, on the agenda cover is a timeline, a bullet point timeline of our sale to the new owner, Ocean Avenue Pride, their completion of the project and obtaining of a certificate of occupancy in November of 2017. And again, March 8th was the final from the city. And since March 8th of 2018, the owner has been attempting through involvement of a broker to find a tenant. The original tenant that was presented to the CRA board, which was the living room restaurateur, fell through. And so that was a project that did not, even though the project was ready and we were expecting that to happen, it did fall through. And he has been actively seeking a new tenant in the building since then. There is not a reverter clause in this case, unlike the 211 project, that you can pull back the property because of its lack of activity. But we do have a first right of refusal on the property if the current owner decided to sell. So we're doing everything we can to promote the property to anyone that's interested in speaking to us about possible locations. I professionally think that the asking price per square foot is extremely high, exorbitant, if you will. And I think that's probably a deterrent to finding a tenant.
It said 60, is that?
$61, yes, sir. That's what is being advertised for.
Can we ask, or can we try to find out from the developer why he's charging that? Can we, basically the way that I'm looking at it is that if we're able to get the property back for a fraction of his investment into it, maybe, or not a fraction, but a percentage lower or at that value, I'd like to know that. And if he can produce those documents that maybe this board would want to consider after seeing the numbers to maybe purchase that property. Yes, Board Member Katz.
I'll gladly look at the numbers, but under no circumstance do I want the CRA to reacquire that property. I think that we spent a ton of money in developing it initially, and it's just like 211. There's difficulty in these types of projects, and I think that somebody has taken on that risk in the private sector, and at this point, I think it's their risk to bear. I think that if we buy it back and pay for a fraction of the upgrades that were put in, whoever we sell it to, we're going to eat losses on that. Or if we rent it out at some kind of cut rate to put a tenant, I think we washed our hands of it, and I personally don't perceive a potential for me to vote to reacquire it.
So Board Member McCray, I'll let you speak before I go.
Thank you. I guess Board Member Katz rubbing off on me. I feel the same way.
All right. And so because we do not have a reverter clause and they have their certificate of occupancy, it could be left vacant for decades. And we have the right of first refusal.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So is the board okay with getting the numbers?
Yes, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I think his square footage price will drop precipitously. as he,
I think the market will definitely guide him along the right
I agree.
direction. So
And don't
he'll
make it
figure
sound
out.
too like we're excited, okay?
No, I agree with the board's comments that, he has an investment in the project well over the acquisition price of $350. I don't know what his personal or professional business is, but I have spoken to him several times. I don't think he's a person that is just a guy that throws money, away. There probably is some concern by the tenants who are looking at the site that while there is some activity with 500 Ocean and certainly Town Square being under construction is very exciting, in comparison to the rents that are being asked, it's a very big risk for them. So perhaps those things will even out as concrete in other areas starts to take shape. So we're happy to meet with anyone that he can send to us to assist them, and we'll keep reporting back to you and keep you up to date.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the Neighborhood Officer Program fourth quarter report.
Sergeant Teal.
Good evening, Board. Sergeant Deal, Boynton Beach Police Department.
We know we got you 94 pages. Do you want to give us the highlights?
You don't like the 94 pages?
We don't. We want to be here till midnight.
This particular quarter was over the summer months. We primarily focused our attention at the Carolyn Sims Center. We had the 2 different summer camps going on, outside the camp and inside camp. We try to facilitate both. I personally donated baseballs and other things to the outside camp, the Boynton Strong's camp. On the inside camp, I got with staff, Frank Ireland and Linda McKeon, and donated Italian ices from Boardwalk Ices. I think that's the photo right there that you're seeing right there, the first couple photos. For the kids, on Fridays they would have Icy Fridays. So through the summer months, it's hot, and that met the nutritional values without breaking any, calorie intake or something. I had to get with Linda on it, so.
I'm glad that you're so concerned.
Well, I had to make sure it fit within the nutritional values that were set forth.
That's sweet.
As you can see, we did expos with the, things with the segways out there. It was, like I said, it was more or less really focused on the Carolyn Sims, both summer camps inside and outside. And then as the summers wind down, we went to the back to school mode. We teamed up with a gentleman here, a local real estate agent. He donated 45 book bags, or 50 book bags, and I came up with another 25. We got with Galaxy Elementary. We handed them out there, and we handed them out at Point Santa and other schools. But as you can see, we went to several Habitat Women Build. I think the Chief of Police was there. That was photos of the Chief of Police, yes. At the Women Build for Habitat. That was also Rivera when she was there. So, again, another active quarter. Going into the first quarter of the year, that's us revitalizing the Boynton Beach High School, painting and so forth. We teamed up with the high school last year. This was the second year, basically just painting, helping them clean up and spruce up the place for the upcoming school year. Going into this first quarter of the 2018-2019, this coming Saturday, we're going to be at the Carolyn Sims Center handing out 65 turkeys to the local schools. I got 10 families from Bowling Green, 10 families from Point Siena, 10 families from Galaxy, 10 from Forest Park, 15 from Congress Middle, and 10 from P2P. And then we'll be rolling into the Christmas. But for that particular quarter that we just ended, that's the back to school at St. John's, so another productive quarter.
Questions? Yes, Board Member Cray.
Thank you. Officer Deal. No,
Sergeant Deal.
Sergeant Deal. I got it in front of me. Chill out. I got it. Sergeant Deal. Officer Rivera. When will she be back?
I got 2 updates. One was the end of October, right around before Pirates Fest. But then I got another update saying November 5th, and I haven't heard anything from then. I do have a photograph on my phone. I can show you with the surgery she had on her foot. It looks pretty nasty.
Nope.
Yeah, I'll save that for later.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at this point, I can't really tell you. It's when she gets medical clearance from her doctor.
Okay, that's it. Okay, the next thing, when I went over to Point Santa Elementary School to read, I seen a Segway coming out of the office part of it. Is that our Segway?
That is our Segway, yes.
Thank you. I didn't want to think I was daydreaming. And,
Nope.
and I'm glad that you all are passing out turkeys. And in regards to your report, I got all the pages here. I had them to print them out. And I thank you for giving us a detail. You gave us everything except when y'all took bathroom breaks. I'm not trying to be facetious, but everything is here. And I think that you all should be commended. I'm going to commend you all with the 2 of you that's working. I'm waiting on the report to come back from the chief, probably about another 3 months to see what he wants to add or take away. But hopefully everything is positive. But I am speaking in you all's favor that I think you all are doing an exceptional job.
Awesome. I appreciate your input. Thank you.
Sarge, has your location situation been rectified yet?
The staff at Carolyn Sims Center, Linda McKeon, Frank Ireland, they've been wonderful. Stephanie upstairs, Mary upstairs, have been wonderful letting us come in there and utilize their space. I know it's a city entity, not really a CRA. We've discussed that, but they like us, like our presence. So we haven't overextended our welcome. So we're so far so good. Yes.
And what is the plan for
The plan
future?
is, as the Ocean Breeze East site plan is developed, there is space, as discussed in the RFP, to have them go into. So it's probably an 18-month, we should be seeing the site plan, both in planning and development and as a city commission. I believe they're going to make application in the January cycle, if not the December cycle. So I would say 18 months to 20 months tops before it's finished.
The project
Ocean Breeze
itself,
East,
yes. Then they would have a permanent home.
Yes, there's a space there that's being provided.
Thank you.
I would like to add one more thing. Mr. Orr made a comment earlier. I was there at the center when he found the snake, when the children found the snake in the yard, in the back football field. It was actually a, what is it, not a rattlesnake, it was a...
Bat.
A racer.
No, it was one of those poisonous ones, the yellow and black, the nursery
coral
rhyme.
snake.
Coral snake, thank you. Yeah.
That's
After
worse.
we took care of it, rectified that situation, I went back inside, we were talking to Frank Ireland, and he actually came up with a good idea. When we do every week on Wednesday, we do sweat with the cop. Basically, we play with the kids, but we changed it a little bit. We modified it to read and sweat with the cops. So now, when they come in under the center on Wednesdays, we took an opportunity to show them what a snake looked like, and they get to color the snake. And we did different animals that is indigenous to Florida or some not indigenous to Florida. So now if you go into the Carolyn Sims Center on Frank Ireland and Linda McKeon's wall or window, you can see all where the kids have colored from Read and Sweat with a Cop on Wednesdays.
All right.
That's toward the end of the quarterly report, but it's mostly into this new quarter. So we're trying to do educational as well.
Board Member Katz.
I just wanted to say I appreciate that. I think that obviously it's a valid concern to be weary of poisonous snakes, but at the same time, you can't rid the outdoors of snakes. So education is the way to combat this. You can't keep snakes from being snakes, but you can teach these kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can quote me on that. But yeah, I think just tell them not to touch any snake. I think that poisonous, non-poisonous.
That's a good idea.
It's a good rule of thumb growing up near the Pine Barrens in Jersey. Don't touch snakes.
Yeah, I can't take the credit. It was actually Frank Ireland that came up with the idea to educate and using the coloring technique. So, we incorporated a part of the sweat/read with a cop on Wednesdays.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, but I think that's super that you all are collaborating together, the city and the CRA and thinking outside of the box. And with that, I want to tell you all, thank you for doing a tremendous, great job. Offer that your report be accepted.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Good.
Vice Chair.
Please send our regards to Officer Rivera as well.
I will do so.
Thank you.
All those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion passes unanimously. Consideration of amendment to the interlocal agreement for Neighborhood Officer Program for fiscal year 2018-19.
Just that simple, you're just approving the interlocal
One more
for
year.
this year's.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Update regarding options for 110 Northwest 6th Avenue.
Yes, sir, Board Chair and board members, at the last meeting of September 11th, we were directed to extend an invitation and a meeting to the principal, Mrs. Steele, Lisa Steele, at Galaxy Elementary to discuss possibility or their interest in partnering with the CRA and the city to do some type of garden improvement or tree landscape greening improvement to the property located at 110 Northwest 6th Avenue. And as you see on the map, it is adjacent to the property owned by the city currently that is a community garden spot. There's also pictures of the street level view. The meeting with Mrs. Steele was very productive. I think it was a very candid discussion with her. She had a lot of gratitude toward our interest and the board chair's desire to extend a a hand to them to see if they were interested. I think that what we got from the meeting was that the vegetable garden type experience or the community garden type experience, the school, both Point Siena and Galaxy, are spread fairly thin at this point with the Galaxy scrub and with the production or the maintenance of production of actual vegetables. They're hard to maintain. They take a lot of energy that the kids necessarily don't have. Then that requires parental involvement, and it's just hard to get them to volunteer for everything.
Yep.
So one of the suggestions that she had, if we were to go forward in developing this concept more, and you didn't want to do an affordable housing unit there, would be to explore the possibility of installing, rather than vegetables, to do like butterfly plants, maybe a butterfly, I won't say garden, but green space, or was also suggested, and the community greening organization we met with in Del Rey, perhaps going into some fruit trees, native fruit trees, lychee nut or mango, or something that could, in a sense, act as a community garden, but not vegetable. Easier to maintain, less involved by the public or volunteers. The garden club, the women's garden club, is also donating some time to the existing garden, but there's no water. So there's some things I don't.
No, there's irrigation.
There's irrigation. Okay.
Oh yeah, there. And so I'll let you finish.
I'm sorry.
it.
No, so that's fine.
Yeah.
We're really looking for direction on, I think, the two paths, either single family on our side and keep the city lot, or to incorporate the two together into a larger garden type area, green area.
Okay, Board Member McCray.
Thank you. I'm in favor of keeping it as a single-family lot, because once we start involving children where they will have to be transported, there's a liability, and I don't want to open us up for that. And I'm just saying that was a home there, and I'm in favor of placing another residence back there.
I didn't think a home was there. I thought it was.
Yes, sir, it was there. It was there. It was the Frederick's home. It got burned down.
And the shed was the only thing left?
To the right. Before we standing and look at it, was to the right.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you. Do we know what kind of specs we could put there? I don't know if we could put the Magnuson house, but
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding. I'm trying to find out.
You better be.
No, the lot does meet the building requirement standard, and I would presume that it would have a similar style house or size house that we have in the model block.
Okay.
But I'm sorry? We did meet with city staff to confirm that, and they said that because there was a lot of record. So, but we wanted to make sure of that before we brought that to you.
Right.
So
Okay.
you really have two options.
I am in favor of the community greening aspect. I was able to tour what they're doing in Del Rey, and it was amazing to see, especially with the fact that, the Boynton Beach Garden Club is maintaining the property next to it. It looks a lot better than what it once, did before the community support funds, and so I'd like to program it for the trees. And so that the kids, in the community who grow up there looking at the trees, can see how it grows over 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And that's my input. Vice Chair?
What's the size of the city lot?
I'm sorry?
What's the size of the city lot?
The dimensions, it's an odd shape, irregular shaped lot. It can't,
Like approximately,
it can't support a house by itself, if that's what you're, because the dimensions of the lot, and it wasn't a buildable lot prior, it won't meet the qualifications necessary. But we can map it out for you. It'll tell us here in a second. Thank you, Bonnie.
Okay, but the 110 lot, it was
Yes, ma'am.
prior, it had a
Yes,
home on
ma'am.
it prior, and it still fits the standards to have a home
Yes,
placed on
ma'am.
it again?
Yes.
Okay.
Which doesn't affect the city property at all. I mean, the garden that's
There
there.
it is, right there.
There's the property
Right.
there.
No, I'm looking at it, I just wanted to know the dimensions.
If you go to the property, yes, of course. If you hit property record, it should give us.
Point tenth of an acre or whatever it is,
It's
I just
small.
wanted to know. Okay, 0.16, close enough. Got it.
like us to look into the overall square footage to see if that's a possibility. We didn't ask the building department about that, but I can certainly report back and see if, with the overall square footage, the minimum square footage for a lot that is not a lot of record that had a previous house on it or was a lot of record is 7,500 square feet total and a 60-foot frontage, which it looks like it might have on 6th. But that would be something I could do irrespective of your decision on 110. I'm happy to take the time to ask them about that.
I'm in agreement that if 110, if it's a possibility to be developed as a single family, I'm all about keeping it in that same line of movement. The city lot is there. That should be maintained as what it is now, the green space and all that. But I see no reason in trying to expand it if that originally was a single family home, and it can also be returned back to that same opportunities, because we're always talking about creating single family housing opportunities, affordable housing opportunities. So if that's another opportunity that's still there, I'd still like to entertain that.
Is that a motion?
If I have to put it in the form of one, what are we looking for here?
Just what you said.
If you have reached a point where a motion is being offered by the board, then I think that can be entertained. It's really board direction.
So if we would like to move forward with it being a single-family house, we would need a motion for that. The only other question is that would we want to open it up to an RFP, or could we do it something similar with Neighborhood Renaissance with the Cottage District and use that contract? Those are the two options. And so, I'll entertain a motion for either one.
Not Neighborhood Renaissance. I'm just saying the CDC can go in and place.
CDC or Habitat.
Yeah, Habitat.
We have to advertise the property regardless.
Okay, we have
so-
to.
Yes, sir. We would
Okay.
put it out for seeking responses from.
Because it wasn't part of the original RFP. Okay, then never mind. We can't. We cannot just piggyback from Neighborhood Renaissance.
Okay. So CDC or Habitat or something? Can
Anyone.
Yeah, anyone. I mean, they could respond. We would just put it out as an individual lot.
So I'll make a motion to just acquire that.
Or letter of interest.
Require it and let it stay as a single-family home lot.
Okay.
Second.
Yes?
I think we can't, to action to have the CRA look to sell the property as a single-family lot.
Yes, sir.
That restated in my motion?
I thought you said stay.
I'm sorry, what?
You sell the property as your motion?
What is the motion that you're looking for from me?
A decision from the board as to moving forward with disposal of the property under the guidelines of the statute for building of an affordable single-family home.
Okay.
If that's
And it would be sold.
appropriate?
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can seek a number. You don't have to do an
No, we could do, yes.
And I
So in other
second
words, a
it.
motion to allow the CRA staff to investigate how to best dispose of the property.
Okay. In
And I
her
second
words,
it.
so moved.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Thank you.
Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes 3-1.
Thank you, board.
Board Chair, before you move on, to your next item, I apologize. I'd like to backtrack for a minute for the item for Ms. McLeod. If I could just get the board's authorization to have you sign that agreement before me bringing it back to the board, if it's under the same terms and conditions and approved by legal.
Someone like to make that motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry for
Thank
not
you.
catching
No
that earlier.
worries.
That's great. Great. Thank you.
Now moving on to new business, consideration of the 2019 CRA board meeting dates.
Yes, sir. The item before you is just to go through our calendar from January 2019 to December for the next calendar year. And Bonnie's noted in the cover that there are elections occurring, local elections occurring on the date of your March 12th, 2019 meeting. And we are proposing moving that Tuesday meeting to Wednesday, the 13th, if that's supported by the board. If not, we can look at other dates and get back to you. And then the second item is that Yom Kippur occurs on your October 8th meeting. And if that is something the board wants to consider moving, we can move that meeting to Monday, the 7th. But that is at the board discretion on both of those items. And the third that was discussed prior to the meeting was the attendance at the December 11th appears to be, due to board absences, a non-quorum amount of board members at this point, so we'll need to discuss how you want to handle the December 11th meeting, 2018.
For December meeting, do you need an answer for the future agenda items? Of 16A, B, or C?
I'm sorry, Chair, I didn't understand the
So
question.
the future, is there required to have a meeting in December that we, the CRA staff, have to have certain items?
It would just, the only thing that would happen is that the 90-day window that you gave us to work with Cottage would just be extended by the number of days if you decided not to have a meeting in December. They would just present in January, which would not hurt with the holidays unless... CRA attorney is mentioning the CRA redevelopment plan amendments. Less time sensitive, I think, to the December meeting. We would be proposing those for the January meeting, and they're not affecting development of any kind. So I think we're okay there. But thank you for mentioning that.
And so is that on item B or C?
It is, yes, sir, it is a future.
Yeah.
Future agenda item B.
Yep, okay. So, yes, Colin.
We would like to move the parking agreement if we could, that's for our contractor for Town Square, and we're really running out of parking.
Is the board okay with authorizing Michael Simon?
It's pretty simple, it's just temporary.
To sign, if we can authorize it now?
You had directed us to go forward and present our temporary use agreement to the developer with your restrictions on security and sod afterwards. So we've presented that. I was kind of in the gray as to whether or not you actually gave authority for them to sign it, or
We did not give you authority to sign it.
Okay.
But we can authorize that now.
So move.
Sure.
And so if
Based on approval from legal.
Yeah, based on approval from legal, may I have a motion to
Great.
approve
Thank you, Colin.
the temporary use agreements for 106 Northeast 3rd Avenue and 211 East Ocean Avenue to give authorization to Executive Director Michael Simon to sign?
Have a motion and a second.
All right. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Is there any other business that, Colin, nothing else? Okay.
We
Thank you,
don't have to
Colin.
have a December 11th meeting.
You still have to show.
All right. So for lack of quorum in the December meeting is going to be canceled.
Okay. We'll notify the public, and then you just have, if the other two dates are of any consideration for the board.
Can I recommend we just push both of them to Wednesday?
Which one?
The Yom Kippur date and the Election Day date, March and October.
13th
So,
and October
So
the
October 8 is
18th.
Kol Nidre, so actually Yom Kippur's on the 9th.
We don't have the room on the Wednesday. It would be the Monday, the 7th.
Or Thursday.
Or Thursday.
But
Oh, that's the crab? Let me see.
that's the way I saw the Jewish calendar.
You can't go the day before.
Let's just do March right now. We don't have to do the whole calendar.
Yes, you can come back to it. You do not have to decide.
Okay, we'll put it on future agenda item
Okay, very good.
for April.
What about March, pushing it to the 13th?
Yeah.
We could do that.
All right.
So March 13th.
13th.
I cannot make any guarantees if I'll be there for that election.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be here.
We'll all be here on the 13th.
Yeah.
My anniversary, I may just be on vacation, so.
Oh, okay. Nice.
When you're finished with that, I did just have one a point of, I guess, update for you. So when you're through with that item, if you've decided on the 13th.
We've decided.
Okay, do you need a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
All right. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
I just wanted to bring the board up to speed on the item for the Community Caring Center property, and I want you to know why that item has lagged and hasn't come back to you from the CRA board. We've had several meetings where that was the item, and we have not had a quorum of the CRA board now for, I think, the last 2 meetings. We are down a member because Tom Murphy is no longer a member, so we're short. We're 6 from 7, and 2 of the members have a conflict of interest on the item, so had to recuse themselves. So between absences and...
we can still have the meeting even though there's not a...
We had a meeting, but that was the only item, and there was not able to be discussion on the item, so it hasn't been brought back to you, is
Well,
the point.
the way that I see it is that even though the people who are on the board can't have the discussion, they can still be counted for the quorum, so that the people that are left, even though it isn't a quorum, we can still have a recommendation.
You're absolutely right. However, on both meetings, there wasn't a quorum.
I understand that, but moving forward...
Of members either.
I know, and that does not count as an absence, so...
That's right.
So we want to make sure that we have the meetings, if they need to recuse themselves, that they recuse themselves, but that's what I'd like to see moving forward. Yes, Board Member Katz, followed by McCray.
Just while the topic is up, I know that, to the best of my recollection, last time they came before us, they wanted something to the tune of $1 million investment in their new facility, in addition to the land swap and the purchase of the land and all that. Are you able to publicly comment? Has that number come down? And if so, where does it currently stand?
Yes, their new proposal is less than that. It's the acquisition of CRA funding total of $550,000, which breaks down to $200,000 for the acquisition of the property, existing property, and $350,000 for relocation and development funding for their new center, which has been reduced from the 10,000 square foot project that they had initially discussed with you some months ago to a 5,500 square foot building, which was really what CRA staff had worked with her initially. I guess the option for the board would be either to unassign the item from the CRAB and have us bring it to you, and then go back to the CRAB, or leave it on as a pending assignment to the CRAB.
That's what I was going to allude to. For what it's worth, ultimately the decision to be made here is how much we want to invest in the property. The CRAB's advice on this won't change my opinion of what my threshold of investment is. So to me, at least, it might as well just come back to us so that we can start to directly deal with the numbers. That's just my personal.
Well,
currently assigned to them. If you wanted to, I'm not.
The way I see it is that I would like to have the discussion item in front of the board in January.
Okay.
So that will give the CRAB board 2 opportunities to make a recommendation, and if they don't, then it will be removed. Board Member McCray?
What was the reason that they reduced it from 10,000 to 5,500? Because we didn't give them the money?
They're not going to be able to afford it, yeah.
Yes, I think there's many issues, direction from the current board, their current situation and lack of square footage, also the Villages project and the incubator, which would no longer be there. They'd like to get that up and running, which would be something that would be part of this next project on 3rd. So.
Exactly. I think part of it is because it was important for them to move the incubator facility, and their last proposal was more comprehensive, where they were putting also the nonprofit component, the caring, the kitchen component of it, and they felt that and the office space can be seeked elsewhere in the CRA district, but the important thing was to relocate the incubator and get the incubator moving. So they only need half the space for that.
And will there be a restaurant in the incubator?
I'm not sure the detail of that would be something that we would like for them to present.
Okay.
It would be certainly our desire to have the incubator space now that has the restaurant move with them, or some form of it. Whether it's the same vendor or not, I don't know.
I know that we
yeah, we'd like to
have
see
given them a good amount of money to
Yeah.
build out that incubator space, and that they own all the equipment, so it behooves us not to let them lose that.
No, we don't want to do that either. I agree. So.
All right, Board Member McCray.
I thought it was their purview when they was talking about this to get everything under one space, one.
Try to do a two-story building to have the social service component as well as the incubator in one building. Now, because of the things that are happening in their discussion with their board, they felt that they don't need to really look for the social service office component of it, and their main thing is to try to get the incubator going because that affects more of their economic development use with our funding.
Also a matter of them listening to board discussion. Their initial project was the 5,000 square foot project. Then it grew to 10,000, which was going to require a lot more from the CRA board. And I am sure that over that time period from that meeting until now, they've reassessed the entire proposal and what it would take to build it and how much funding they can get from other sources besides you. So you're absolutely.
Would you need a formal motion to say if whatever the advisory board does, if it comes back to us in January?
If you want to make that a motion?
Yeah, I think you said we give them two more chances, and whether they render a piece of advice or not, it comes before us in January, so moved.
I think that
All right.
bring it back in January regardless of the
Yep.
Second.
Any further discussion from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Seeing none, motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Is there any items on the agenda?
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
What that man with the turkey? He's gone.